Thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. That shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Looks like you've made it to Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. You may know him as the first African-American Attorney General of the United States, the 82nd Attorney General, in fact. You also may know him for his work in redistricting fights and to make those fights for fair maps equitable to all, his civil rights acumen, and his dedication to pushing the needle of our democracy forward. Mr. Eric Holder is going to be in studio with us in, I don't know, about 45 or so minutes. He has endorsed Judge Chris Taylor for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court race. I have not discussed that race very much because this is probably one of the most obvious and easiest choices that anyone who believes in the furtherance and the protection of our democracy could make. So we did ask a question on the YouTube. If you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, and you'll be able to participate in our poll. I just want to see something. Do you plan on voting in next Tuesday's state Supreme Court election between very conservative former prosecutor Maria Lazar or more left-leaning Judge Chris Taylor? You've probably seen some of Judge Chris Taylor's advertisements on the television or via social media. You've also heard a couple of advertisements here on 101.7 The Truth from outside groups that are supporting Judge Chris Taylor, but we're going to get Eric Holder's perspective on it. So he's actually batting 1,000. The last, 3 times that he was here in studio with me, he was supporting and endorsing judges for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court, and all 3 of those judges happen to be successful. So he decided this time to endorse Chris Taylor, so let's ask him why. We'll also find out other things that are going on at the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, where Mr. Eric Holder serves as the chair. So that's coming up in about 40-ish minutes, give or take. But before we have that big conversation about Judge Chris Taylor and Maria Lazar, there's a debate tonight between those two. You'll be able to see the contrast right there in front of your very eyes. I'll give you details on the state Supreme Court candidate debate a little bit later on in the program. But I'm still stuck on, what we've been seeing over the past few days, I guess, maybe the past week or more with the takeovers, because it gives us an opportunity to analyze. And more things are going to happen. More things are going to take place as the weather gets warm. I just found out the kids were on spring break because I never even thought to ask why there's so many young people out anyway. They're on the spring break, so they don't have any class, and they're congregating and getting together and taking things over during their spring break. But this gives the adults in the room some time to pause. And I was asking myself a lot of questions to see if I had any answers, and I couldn't really think of any. Have we, as a whole city, as a community, and this is not just black people, this is everybody, have we provided a safe, loving, welcoming, nurturing, encouraging environment for young people? Or have we just left them to their own devices to just figure it out and do whatever it is that they want? Do we just want the kids out of sight, out of mind? Have we created structures where it's safe for them to be, to exist, to ask questions, to explore, and to be themselves? Have we as a whole city protected them? I don't know if we have. Yesterday, I went on this long, drawn-out soliloquy about they are, in fact, rebelling. Maybe we're not providing space for them. They're going to take space, because you got to keep this in mind. This is going to be their city. It is. Some will move away. Most will not. Time will go on, and maybe even more will come. Have we, and this is a rhetorical question, have we prepared the city of Milwaukee's young people to take over, to run, and to lead the city of Milwaukee of tomorrow? And if we have, what kind of city are we going to have with this particular group, this cohort of young people at the helm? They're going to be running for mayor. You may not think that, but a lot of people that are in politics right now, very few of them had this dream growing up. A couple of weird kids probably did. Not many 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12-year-olds, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th graders like, I wanted to be an alderman. You just maybe take advantage of an opportunity, or you see where leadership is needed, and people usually, they step up to that call. And a lot of times it's reluctant. There are a number of people that represent us in this city and in this county in different capacities that had to be pushed into running for office. We used to do this thing a long time ago. We stopped, of course, because it didn't bear any fruit. We would draft someone. So let's say Gavin Newsom was not interested in running for president in 2028. But a lot of people around the country like his style, his delivery. Maybe they like the policies in California. They like the California economy. I don't know. They like how Gavin Newsom pushes back on Donald Trump. But let's just say Gavin Newsom did not have political aspirations. Back in the day, there would be a draft movement. And the draft movement essentially would be somebody would create a website, create associated social media pages, an Instagram page. Back then it was Twitter. And they would fill it with details and photographs encouraging Gavin Newsom to run for president. And then those social media pages would grow in their popularity. Let's just assume that Gavin Newsom had no political aspirations whatsoever, but then he sees this draft movement that's taking on its own organic life of its own on social media, and he may see that and be like, wait a minute, all these people and all of these likes and comments and shares from this draft movement. Wow, the people really want me to run. And it was successful until it wasn't. Because there are people who are really wonderful members of our community. They're well-liked, they're well-respected, they're great examples of success. They have mentored lots of people. They have aided in other people's success. And we may say, oh, wow, you would make a great mayor. People have been saying that about Derek Mosley for 20 years. But Derek Mosley is never going to run for mayor of the city of Milwaukee. At least I don't think that he will. But he is one that would likely ignore a draft movement. But one example is, you find this person, there is this person that they're so good and they're so well-liked and they're so well-respected, and they can even mediate conflict between warring groups. And in Milwaukee, we have a lot of groups that are at war with one another. Maybe they're competing for resources. Maybe they're competing for, public spotlight. And we find whoever this person is, and it's a ubiquitous person. We all know who they are. And we think like, wow, they would be the perfect mayor or county executive or governor or whatever. And then we draft them to run for office. They get elected and they suck. The skills that people have when it comes to being successful, being respected, and being well-liked is not the same skill set to be a successful politician. Because you're probably going to run under the guise of one political party or another. And once somebody does that, once you pick a side, because you can't really be in the middle, voters will make you choose. Donors will make you choose. And then the things that we liked about this person that was so well-regarded and highly respected and very successful and a wonderful mentor to many, they get in office, then they have to pick a side, and then half of the people that once loved them now hate them. It's a very, very difficult proposition. But as I was thinking about how we demonize the young people, I made a lot of parallels to the civil rights movement and how these young people are acting. They're not listening. They're not following the rules. They're not following the law. They're making space where no space has been made for them. And maybe they're doing it all in the guise of fun, but I think that they are rebelling against a system that we all admit that we hate, but haven't changed. And we're opening the door wide for the next generation of young people to come into the halls of the system that we all despise. And some of them don't want to have anything to do with that. I also know this, that they can just get together and they can incite fear in adults in this town to where we are scrambling to figure something out. That's power. Think about that. If you just get a big group of young black kids together, now the police got to come, now the sheriff has to be there, now the violence interrupters, they have to get up and interrupt the violence, you see. That's a tremendous amount of power. And if I'm thinking about it from a young person's perspective, they can make adults who they may not even respect, because I don't know if we have done a yeoman's job of creating a safe developmental environment for them. We certainly haven't done so educationally. We have not, and we all know that. Not even close. But they can make us move. In any other regard, we probably would ignore them. We would dismiss them. We would want to punish them. We would want to criminalize them. But once they get together, there's something here. If this power can be harnessed, if we can get the adults to maybe see this a little bit differently, we might have something. Because we're going to need to get our leaders of the next generation from somewhere. I would never consider myself a community leader. I'm just a commentator, but I ain't going to be doing this forever. Hopefully there will be someone else, many, many people coming behind me and will be able to fill this position in my stead. But if we are not providing environments and the training grounds for young people, then I think we're going to have ourselves to blame. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, Milwaukee's not that bad in a couple of regards. I know we always talk about the horrible and the terrible things. And yeah, that's because, we kind of fell asleep at the wheel. When it comes to the cost of living, and, everything is getting more expensive. We know that. In fact, the price of eggs was the biggest strike against Kamala Harris. That and, the woman thing. And she was black and part Indian and had a white husband. And she's too close to Joe Biden. And then when she was asked, if she would do anything different from Joe Biden. She said no. But aside from that, aside from those small little details, it was rising costs. And costs went up, during the Biden era, and mostly because of the stimulus checks that were given out and money was printed. There was no productivity associated with that money that was given to people, et cetera. And so here's the thing about prices. They're always going to go up, but what we can do temporarily is we can employ more people, we can raise wages, and hopefully prices, however temporary, will be able to stagnate so people can just begin to get their head above water. I compare Milwaukee to 3 other cities so some are larger, but they are comparable percentage-wise when it comes to ethnic diversity and cultural attractions, right? So if someone is in Milwaukee right now and you are just discontent, you want to leave, but you want to go somewhere that feels and looks familiar, where you have plenty of things to do, where you have cultural offerings, et cetera. And I want to compare the city of Milwaukee to Detroit, Baltimore, and Kansas City. So they're metro areas, so not just the cities proper, to see if Milwaukee stacks up to those cities. So if you think things are expensive here, maybe you can go somewhere else and have a better life where things are much more cost effective. So we'll do some comparison there. I also have a really interesting list of what the high income jobs will be here in the city of Milwaukee. And I'm talking really good money. I'm talking family sustaining money. I'm talking home ownership money, can buy a car money, can go out to eat money. Maybe not super fancy, expensive, but you'll be able to go to Applebee's and Chili's. I got 5 jobs or 5 industries, because if we're going to be engaging with young people, they're going to need to know how to make money, or they're just going to take it. So we have industries that I don't even know if we're discussing these industries enough here in the city of Milwaukee. And I would usually keep this stuff close to the vest, because here's what I don't want. I don't want you foreigners coming into our city and taking our jobs. I can't stand a foreigner. I wish you would just stay at home. And when I say foreigner, I mean somebody from Racine. Don't come here. You're not allowed. Waukesha people, I think Waukesha people need a passport. You want to come to Milwaukee for anything, or pay a toll. So I got some jobs that are very, very high paying that Milwaukee will have a monopoly on, and maybe we can start engaging or influencing, whether it be the young people themselves or maybe the curriculum at their schools, to get them ready for these jobs of the future. Because I want the young people to make a bunch of money, because I want a bunch of their money to be paid into Social Security, so that I can have an even more comfortable retirement on the backs of their labor. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, now with more streaming on YouTube. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's that time again for the Tory Low Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we come together to clean up the city of Milwaukee. Be part of making a difference in our community. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, Saturday, April 18th, 8 to noon. Sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, Waste Management, and presented by the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District, your clean water partner serving Greater Milwaukee for 100 years.
As the White House threatens to take over state elections, restrict abortion nationwide, and take away our health care, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is the last line of defense for our rights. That's why the Supreme Court election on April 7th is so critical. The ACLU does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to make an informed decision. When it comes to abortion rights, Maria Lazar supported overturning Roe v. Wade and is endorsed by groups that want to ban abortion. Chris Taylor voted against abortion bans and defended abortion rights while working with Planned Parenthood. And on the issue of voting rights in Wisconsin, Maria Lazar defended efforts to rig elections for one political party through extreme gerrymandering of congressional and legislative districts. Chris Taylor opposes rigging the system with extreme partisan gerrymandering. On April 7th, stand up for our rights. Paid for by American Civil Liberties Union, Incorporated.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm looking at population size of between 500,000 people and 700,000 people per city, with a metro area of 1.5 million to 2.5 million. And Milwaukee fits into that category. We know that everything is getting more expensive. Those of you that are paying rent, your rents have been going up steadily. Maybe we should consider some kind of a rent cap. I'm not sure if landlords would necessarily go for that. But when rents get to a point where they are unaffordable, I typically would say, oh, well, just go and buy a house. Well, because so many people refinance their mortgages during COVID, and some folks have a 2% interest rate, they're not selling their houses. So the people that are selling their houses are selling them for very, very heavy premiums. I think we have more people that could be potential home buyers than we have sellers. Because if you sell your house and you have one of those 2%, 30-year fixed interest rates, and you sell your house and you make a decent amount of money in equity, let's say you've got $200,000 or so in equity, which is not unheard of in Milwaukee, believe it or not. The next house or condo that you buy, your interest rate is going to be 3 times what you are paying right now. And for some people in this economic environment cultivated by Donald Trump and the Republicans, paying 3 times the interest rate than you're paying right now on your house is encouraging people to stay exactly where they're at. And because there is this hanging on to people's residential property, I think landlords are taking advantage of that. But if I compare the city of Milwaukee to other places, because I know a bunch of y'all are fed up. I know you are. I know you want to leave. I know you don't want to be here anymore. The number of people that just I know personally that I have grown up with or gone to school with, black people in particular, even though it's people of all races and colors, have left Milwaukee and don't even look back. Even though their family is here, their roots are here, they had to get the heck out of here. And some of them went to Texas. And they come to realize Texas is not all it's cracked up to be, especially when they have these privately held utility companies and they have power outages all the time and they get the rainings and the floods. And they even got snow in Texas. You get an inch of snow in Texas, people freak out. They don't know how to drive in the snow. Neither do people in Wisconsin. So let's go ahead and clear that up. All right, here we go. The cost of living index, the national average for Milwaukee, is between 94 and 100. So it's basically right there in the middle. The median incomes in Milwaukee for a single person. Now, if you have a whole bunch of kids, that changes the math. Here's the best financial advice that I could give someone without knowing all of your situation, how much money you have, how much money you make. If you want to have the best chance at being reasonably successful, really take a critical look if you can afford to bring another human being into the world. Because there's like other associated costs with children. So the data I'm going to give you is if you are opting not to have children. Get a dog, maybe. No, that might even be too much responsibility for some people. Start with like a house plant. See if you can keep a house plant alive. And if you can't, you like, oh, okay, I'm going to get a house plant. I'm going to take real good care of it. I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to water it. But then you kind of forget about it because you get busy with life and you go out to happy hour and you go hang out with your friends and you go to watch the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe you go watch the Admirals. I don't know what you do. And then you look and your plant is dead because you forgot about it. That plant is basically, you just killed a child. So if you can't keep a house plant alive, maybe, and a house plant is very inexpensive. You maybe can get like fertilizer for it, I guess, even though the cost of fertilizer is going up. But you water it and maybe you talk to it. You read it a book, maybe, play a movie for it. I don't know what you do to keep a plant alive. But if you can't keep a plant alive, chances are your child may not make it to kindergarten. Okay, housing. The primary driver of the cost of living in a city. The median home price here in the city of Milwaukee, it's $230,000 to $235,000. That ain't that bad. Rent for a 2-bedroom, 1 bedroom for you and 1 for your plant. In Milwaukee, averages about $1,200. In Detroit, a 1-bedroom is $1,100. So you're better off in Milwaukee because you can get 2 bedrooms for $1,200. Where in Detroit, one bedroom is going to average you $1,100. Baltimore, where the median home income is the home prices rather in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm not sure who the hell wants to move to Baltimore, but it's comparable to Milwaukee. I've been there before. It's not horrible, but I found myself because I'm not afraid to go anywhere. I'm not afraid of the hood because it's just a bunch of nice black people that are unique, right? That's what the hood is. Fine. The hood is like, I feel safer sometimes in the hood than I do in the suburbs, because in the suburbs I look a little bit more suspicious. In the hood, yeah, I guess I look suspicious there too, but I'm more comfortable looking suspicious in the hood than looking suspicious in the suburbs, right? I found myself on the wrong side of the tracks when I was in Baltimore. I went out there for a work training many years ago, and I heard about the street where all the fun stuff is. It was sold to me as like a black Water Street. Now, remember, at the time that I went, this is in 04, 05, Water Street was really all white. There was no black people that went to Water Street in the early 2000s, and I wish that it was more diverse at the time because I was a young person. I was in my 20s. So when I heard about this, they call it the Block in Baltimore, and they said, oh, Sherwin, you're going to love it. It's like a black Water Street, all these black-owned bars and nightclubs, whatever. Yeah, they lied to me. I was terrified. And once I realized that I was somewhere that I didn't belong, there's no Uber back then. So I had to get money to use a payphone to call a taxi. Do you understand that like 4 taxi cab companies wouldn't even come and pick me up? They wouldn't even come. I had to flag a taxi down that already had a rider and had to ask that guy to come back. So that's for those of you that are wanting to go to Baltimore. And I'm sure all that is cleaned up by now. That was 20 years ago. I'm sure Baltimore is a great place. Rent for a one-bedroom in Baltimore, though, it's a little expensive, and their median home prices averages between $330,000 and $380,000. They got very good crab cakes, though. If you ever happen to go to Baltimore, Maryland, the crab cakes are chef's kiss. Rent, you're going to be paying $1,500 to $1,800 per month, and there's an even higher housing burden in Baltimore than Milwaukee. So far, Milwaukee is winning. While our rents are expensive and getting more expensive, relatively speaking, if you go somewhere else, you are going to pay more for housing, whether you buy or rent. Kansas City. Median home price in Kansas City is between $300,000 and $320,000. Rent for a one-bedroom in Kansas City is going to average you $1,300. Now, remember, in Milwaukee, you get 2 bedrooms for $1,200. About food and grocery prices. Milwaukee is 8% lower than the national average, even with all of this inflationary stuff going on. Food, while it's getting expensive, it is still less expensive here than if you move to a comparable city or metro area with the same amount of racial and ethnic diversity. Detroit has slightly higher food costs than Milwaukee. They say Baltimore is near or slightly above the national average, means they're more expensive than Milwaukee. Kansas City, though, I guess they score a win because they are slightly below the national average. And with all the cities that I mentioned, the cost of food is within a 10% range, but over the course of a year, that 10% can add up to be quite a bit. Milwaukee's transportation costs, so this is everything. This is whether you take public transportation, whether you take one of those bubbler bikes or a Lime scooter, or you drive a vehicle. This even takes into account how much you're going to pay for gasoline. You know, gas prices vary by region. Transportation costs all in for all different modalities of transportation. Milwaukee is 7% less for transportation costs than the national average. Detroit has low transit costs, but car dependency is very high and traffic is horrendous. Baltimore also has higher transportation costs due to congestion, some of the highest insurance rates in the country, and exorbitant parking fees. Kansas City, they say, is similar to Milwaukee, but still slightly more expensive. I'm going to take a break, come back. I want to talk to you about utilities. You know, We Energies is seeking a 14% rate hike by 2024, which is Very upsetting to a lot of people. So we'll compare utility costs with these cities and also see what's up with We Energies wanting 14% more than they are getting right now for our gas and electric services. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Literally one call, that's all.
I made one call, and that's all, worry-free.
One call, that's all. It worked.
Just one call, and that's all.
They will do what they say they're going to do. One call, and that's all.
One call, that's all means security.
It's literally one call, that's all.
It's a phrase we'll never forget.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Going through the costs to live in other cities, comparing Milwaukee to places you may want to consider, even though I don't know who's leaving Milwaukee to go to Detroit. Actually, Detroit, when I do the whole summary of all the cities, it's a little bit less expensive to live in Detroit. However, I think the chances of you getting shot in the face in Detroit a little bit higher. But if you're saving money, then maybe it's worth a bullet in the face. I don't know. You have your preferences, I have mine. I am comparing Baltimore with Kansas City and Detroit. Those aren't even destinations that I think that. But they're old former industrial cities that are certainly making a comeback. Detroit has made a hell of a comeback. They were filing for bankruptcy about 10 years ago. Now they got stuff going on in Detroit, Michigan. All right, utilities, which is a very timely conversation because We Energies is seeking a 14% rate hike. And so somebody had posted a response to that article in the Hughes Views Facebook group, which is the Facebook group that corresponds to this show. And they were under the impression that the legislature, which is a reasonable assumption, they assumed that the Wisconsin state legislature, which is currently controlled by Republicans, that they would be the ones to vote on and approve a hike to the rate of what we pay for natural gas and for electricity. It is actually not the legislature. It's a group called the Public Service Commission. It's a small committee of individuals who are appointed by other stakeholders, elected officials, and dignitaries. And it's supposed to be like a citizen board. And they review We Energy's requests, and then they either approve or reject the rate hikes. And I actually posted a link to the Public Service Commission in the Hughes Views Facebook group so you can read up on them and get more familiar with them. Here's what I'll say. I can't recall the number of power outages that I've experienced throughout my life, like when I was growing up, at home with my parents, or even when I went away to school. But I do know this. In my particular neighborhood, I'm between Sherman Park and the St. Joseph's neighborhood in Milwaukee. I have experienced very, very few power outages in the 20-plus years I've lived in my house. Very few. In fact, I've seen, people on social media and then postings, of course, on, news websites of power outages all throughout the city. I've had very, very few. And I appreciate We Energy's infrastructure. Now, that infrastructure is going to cost us now. And then the times in which I've had, maybe 2 or 3 times I had a power outage overnight, maybe in 20 years. That ain't bad. You got some cities, they have rolling blackouts pretty much all the time, every single summer when people are using their air conditioners. And because I'm just a single person and I keep the temperature in my house reasonable, and I have real creative ways in which, because I don't use all of my house and I damn sure don't heat it all. If I'm not in a particular room, I'm not having the heating vent open in that room. So over the years, I've gotten used to, changing how I heat my home to try and be efficient. And also, I'm heavily dependent on electricity because that is what my vehicle is powered on. And so the 14% rate hike, while it will sting, I'd rather pay more than pay less and have to deal with power outages all the time. It's worth it because it's never cool, especially if you just went to the grocery store. You just went. You got all the groceries. You have so many different foods. You have many foods. You have delicious foods, maybe not so delicious foods. You have healthy foods. Who am I kidding? You don't have any healthy foods. And then your power goes out, and you are now running the risk of all of that food spoilage. Add up the cost of that. So if you are paying less money for utility, I'm over here defending a rate hike for We Energies. All I know is this. They're the only ones that are providing us with power. Now, is it fair for them to have a monopoly? It is not. But utility companies do have that option. So they say that Mr. Holder is here. We don't want to make him wait, do we?
Yeah, when we go get him?
Why don't we do this? Should we take a break? We'll take a break. All this cost of living stuff can be put on hold. We got the dignitary and a friend of mine. In fact, in my original intro for this show is a snippet of an interview that I did with Mr. Eric Holder some years ago. So we're going to take a pause. We're going to come back with the former Attorney General of the United States, who is now the chairman of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, and he's here talking about his support for Chris Taylor, a candidate for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. When we come back, Mr. Eric Holder will be in studio. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube. How? Every day from 1 to 4. Truth Nation, I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. Hey, how? I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful.
Need a quick, delicious way to fuel your day? Try one of our new protein power plays from Cousin Subs. Power ham, power turkey, power club, power tuna. 4 craveable 5-inch subs on freshly baked Italian bread. Packed with protein, up to 33 grams. All for just $7.99 for a limited time. It's the flavor you love with the fuel you need. Grab a protein power play in store, online, or on the Cousin Subs app today. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Redlining happened here. Some neighborhoods are still left behind. When decisions are made about our blocks, our homes, and our families, we deserve to be heard. The Milwaukee County Office of Equity and Empower invites you to help us tell the story of wealth by taking a short survey online. What do you need to build wealth for your family, business, or neighborhood? Take the survey and be entered in to win concert tickets, cash prizes, and more. Take the survey now through the end of March at mkestoryofwealth.com. That's mkestoryofwealth.com.
A message from Tia Mowry, actress and Fair Celebrity Ambassador.
Game day isn't staged, it's lived. It's the shopping, the cooking, the laughter. For families managing food allergy, that same spirit of preparation means everything. Because food allergy isn't a lifestyle. It's a serious, life-threatening disease that can change everything in a moment. But being ready changes the story. It's knowing the signs, having a plan, and carrying epinephrine everywhere life takes you. Epinephrine is the only treatment that can stop a severe food allergy reaction known as anaphylaxis. It works quickly to reverse the symptoms and can save lives. As families and friends gather for the big game, we see what community looks like. It's one built on awareness, care, and love in action. Because readiness doesn't take away the risk. It brings back the joy. When you're ready to act, you're ready to live.
Visit foodallergy.org/ready to act to learn more.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back to the program. In studio, back once again, because I think he likes it here. Former Attorney General and now Chairman of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, Eric Holder's in studio. Welcome back, sir. Glad to have you.
Always good to see you, Sherwin. And this has become an annual stop. You know, I love Wisconsin and I love hanging out with you.
Well, thank you. Likewise. And, you know, you must be our lucky charm because, first of all, when you're here, it's business, right? And the business that we are attending to is a very important, a crucial Wisconsin State Supreme Court race. And the courts are always important, but in these days and times with the leadership we have, you know, elsewhere, protecting our courts and getting justices on our state Supreme Court sometimes is our last line of defense from some of the worst impulses of, you know, who we're speaking about. We know that you don't take your endorsements of candidates lightly. You have made the decision to endorse Chris Taylor, who is running, and actually the election is 5 days away. Tell us what went into the decision to endorse her and then some of the contrast between her and her opponent, Maria Lazar.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said is exactly right. I don't make these endorsements lightly. I looked at the records of the two candidates. Chris Taylor is a person who has served well as a judge now, who has served as a state legislator, who has worked for the people as a lawyer. She was the head of Planned Parenthood's outreach efforts. And if you look at the record that she has, she's a person who's dedicated herself to the people as opposed to her opponent, who has been, I think, a captive of the special interests. I mean, her opponent helped Scott Walker put in place the gerrymanders that we've been trying to break here in Wisconsin for the course of the last decade. She says that she supports this 1849 abortion ban, has said that she thinks that, you know, women should be banned from getting abortions after 6 weeks. has stood with polluters, has turned over material to people who were challenging the results of the 2020 election. The contrast could not be more stark. Judge Taylor is a person, as I said, who I think stands with the people, and her opponent is one who stands with the special interest. And I will say also, very interestingly, I'm not only endorsing her, but just yesterday, former President Obama endorsed Judge Taylor as well. And this is something that's very unusual. A former president of the United States is, for lack of a better term, reaching down and saying, this is important, and I am going to endorse Judge Taylor for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So at every level, we are trying to do the best that we can to put a qualified person on the Wisconsin Supreme Court that, as you said, is extremely important and serves as a backstop for for that which is coming out of Washington, D.C.
It is an April election, and spring elections typically in the state of Wisconsin do not get the kind of attention and turnout that we'll see in partisan primaries, especially even in a midterm year where we see a little bit of depressed election turnout. Do you think that with everything that is happening right now, that we will have better than average turnout even for an April election, but then also stress how important it is to vote in every single election? And that fella's planning some things. He's trying to do some things with how we vote. He's trying to make a national voter registry. And so we still have the option and opportunity to vote in our states without any federal interference. Let's just reinforce the fact of how important it is, not just to vote in this election, but every election upcoming.
And that's precisely right, Sherwin. I mean, every election is in some ways a repayment for, or the ability to vote in an election is in some ways a repayment for those who came before us, who sacrificed, committed themselves, sometimes gave their lives so that we'd have the capacity to vote in ways that they did not. And it seems to me, and it sounds a little, dramatic, but I think it's almost a betrayal of the sacrifices of that previous generation if we don't vote in every election, especially in an election like this, when we're concerned not only about what's going on in the state, but what federal election officials are trying to do, federal executive branch officials are trying to do with regard to the vote. We get all of these executive orders coming out of the White House to make it more difficult to vote by mail. They want to get access to voter rolls. There's a whole range of things that they're trying to do. You can call it what you want and use technical terms, but here's the bottom line. They're trying to cheat because they think that the programs that they have put in place, their legislative agenda, is not popular. And they think that unless they do these things that are anti-democracy, they won't have a chance to win come November of 26. And that's why having people like Chris Taylor to put her hand up and say, no, that's not what we're going to allow to happen here. I'm going to decide cases on the facts, on the law, and I'm going to do things in the interests of the people. That's why I support her. And I don't know how she's going to vote in a particular case. I don't know that, but I do have confidence in her abilities to make decisions in a neutral way, as opposed to her opponent, who I think will do things to protect the special interests and also to protect, the folks in D.C.
Speaking with Mr. Eric Holder, who is the chairman of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, there was a period of time in the state of Wisconsin where like 56% of the votes cast in this state would be for a Democrat.
Right.
But Republicans would win better than 60+% of the seats because we had some of the worst gerrymandered districts in the entire country. And let me thank you once again for the work that you all and your committee has done to give us much more fair maps. And we have the potential for a Democratic majority in our Wisconsin state legislature here for the first time in a very, very long time. But can you speak to the illegalities of these gerrymanders that Republicans are now adding to their political playbook, including the president asking for 5 or 6 or 10 more Republican-controlled districts? So let's give us a little background on the importance of curtailing that gerrymander so that people can be adequately represented.
No, you're being a little kind here. He didn't ask for 5 additional seats in Texas. He said that I'm entitled to 5 additional congressional seats in Texas. And that's an indication of what it is that they think they're trying to do. They're trying to rig the election so that they will have, through gerrymandering, more opportunities to put more people in place who don't have necessarily the support of the people. And the statistics that you cite are extremely important. People need to remember this. You know, Democrats had, by terms of the popular vote on a number of cycles between 2011 and now, had more people come out and vote for Democratic candidates, and yet had maybe 30-40% of the seats in the state legislature, all a function of gerrymandering. That's what the Republicans are trying to do here. Now, I think what they expected Democrats to do when Trump said, I'm entitled to these 5 seats, is that, you know, well, I'd come on your show and complain, I'd write an op-ed. And we said, you know what? We're going to get tough. And if you're going to try to do that, we're going to try to make sure that this is fair. We saw what happened in California, where the people decided to do redistricting in such a way to counter that which they did in Texas. There's an effort underway in Virginia to counter what they're trying to do as well. I expect that Florida is going to try to do something consistent with what President Trump wants to do. And, you know, this mid-cycle redistricting, this is supposed to happen every 10 years. And they're trying to recycle mid-cycle so that they can come up with ways in which they can protect themselves from the very voters who they claim they want to represent.
Can we talk about the Wisconsin State Supreme Court and maybe a different perspective, because it oftentimes is not one of those elections or campaigns that gets a tremendous amount of attention. Explain how it's like a stopgap. The good thing is the state of Wisconsin, we control our elections. In fact, all elections are controlled by those individual states. So if there is federal overreach in the state of Wisconsin, explain how the Wisconsin State Supreme Court can actually protect and defend Wisconsin's right to maintain control over its elections.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court is the ultimate arbiter of what the Wisconsin Constitution says. And that, in our electoral system, we have a federal system. The last word of a state Supreme Court is the one that generally will rule. And so the feds can come in and say some things. The Supreme Court in Wisconsin and in other states can interpret the state constitution and say, you know what you're saying is inconsistent with the rules that are set out in our Constitution, and we're going to follow the rules that this Supreme Court, this state Supreme Court, says. And it's, as you said at the very beginning, it is a backstop. It's a bulwark against overreach by the federal government.
He wants a lot of things. He wants to create a national, federalized voter registration list. I think the SAVE Act is a part of his demand. Can you speak to how detrimental and how dangerous and disenfranchising the SAVE Act would be? Because most folks have the SAVE Act confused with a Student Loan Act of something similar, and I don't know if people are paying a lot of attention, but just give us a couple of details of how the SAVE Act, which we hope will not see the light of day, but if it does, how detrimental it can be.
If you want to get a sense of what these people are about, you need to look at the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act says that you have to come up with a whole bunch of identification material to make sure that you're not casting an in-person fraudulent ballot. The Brennan Center has looked at this and said, you know what? You're more likely to get hit by lightning than to come to a polling place and cast a fraudulent ballot. But the SAVE Act will say, among other things, you have to make sure that you have a birth certificate, a passport, these kinds of things in order to prove that you have the ability to vote. One of the interesting things is that women who were born with one name and who changed their names after they got married would have to find their birth certificates and then have to pay to get access to those birth certificates and prove those. So you not only have the difficulty of finding your birth certificate if you're a woman, you've got to pay in order to get it. And I think that's in some ways a poll tax. And so these are the kinds of things that they are trying to do with the SAVE Act. They try to say it's a photo ID law, voter identification law. It's way more than that. It also calls for the turning over of voter material to the Department of Homeland Security, recently run by the late, great Kristi Noem. You want to have state voter material turned over to the federal government, and God only knows what this administration would do with that kind of material. So this SAVE Act is a really, really pernicious, really dangerous piece of legislation that I don't think is going to become law, but I think is reflective of what Republicans are trying to do.
Eric Holder was the 82nd Attorney General of the United States, currently chairman of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. How long you in town for? What you got going on while you're here?
Well, I did a couple events in Milwaukee yesterday. I'm going to Kenosha and to Janesville today. I've done virtual things with Judge Taylor. We sent out, 300,000 texts to people to try to get them to the polls, and that is my main concern at this point. I don't want people to think, Wisconsin got a lot of attention last year for that Supreme Court race. Elon Musk was here with millions of dollars. This election is just as important as that one was, and I really urge people to make sure that you get to the polls, no later than April the 7th. If you have any questions about this, go to wisdems.org/vote and make yourself a plan in order to vote. You still can vote early, up until April the 5th. But if you can't do that, make sure that you vote on April the 7th. This election is critically important to democracy in Wisconsin, and it will have a national impact as well.
Tonight at 7 p.m., you'll be able to watch a debate between the two candidates, Chris Taylor and Maria Lazar. It's going to be on WISN Channel 12. At 7 p.m. in case you want to hear from both of the candidates before you make your decision. So that's this evening at 7 p.m. on Channel 12. Eric, I got to ask you this before you go. Mm-hmm. Now, we were warned about this fella. And we had a candidate in 2024. She lived in Milwaukee. She was here. Kamala was here more times than I can count. In fact, I look at my calendar. Oh, she's here again, in studio again. But we love her here. In fact, the convention was in Chicago, but she came to Milwaukee to accept the nomination, which we thought was fantastic. And so she was warning us about this fella. He gets reelected. And we had an idea that it would be bad. We knew it would be worse. Did you ever think that it would be this bad?
I knew it was going to be bad, but I had no idea it was going to be this bad. You look at an institution that I revere and that raised me as a young lawyer, the Justice Department, that has always prided itself on being independent from the president. Trump uses the Justice Department as his lawyers. He has used the Justice Department to go after his political opponents. It's not the kind of stuff you see in the United States of America. It's not the kind of stuff that you see with Republican or Democratic, Department of Justices, and yet that's what he has done, and he is brazen about it. We saw that text, email, whatever it was that he sent to Pam Bondi, where he was expressing, his dissatisfaction that she wasn't going fast enough against, people. And we've seen what happened when they've put these cases before grand juries or trial juries. They tried to indict Jim Comey, Letitia James, and grand jury, the guy who threw the sandwich at an ICE officer or something like that.
He was acquitted, by the way.
He was acquitted, exactly. This is the kind of stuff that they're doing. And so, I knew it was going to be bad, and Kamala warned us that it was going to be bad, but I don't think anybody could have anticipated the things that they have been doing. The FCC going after Jimmy Kimmel, threatening broadcasters about what it is that they say that's inconsistent with what the administration wants to hear. This is more like Russia than it is the United States of America. This is more like an authoritarian regime than the United States of America. And the way in which we fight back is for people to use the ultimate power, and that's the power that we have at the ballot box. We have to vote.
Mr. Eric Holder, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. Everybody go on out and make sure that you cast your vote. We're not telling you who to vote for.
I am.
Yeah, well, a little bit. I'm not supposed to, but there's going to be a candidate debate going on tonight. Chris Taylor is, of course, the one that we believe is going to best uphold democracy for people in the state of Wisconsin. You're always welcome back here. And if you decided you want to run for president, we've talked about this before. We'll get you 10 electoral votes from Wisconsin. Where you get the other 260, that's not us. But you'll get at least 10 if you decide to run.
Is that a promise?
Yes.
Oh, all right. There we go.
All right. Eric Holder, always a pleasure. Good to see you. We'll see you again very soon.
All right, always good to see you, Sherwin.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
Another function of white supremacy, don't teach black people stuff, because if you give us a little bit of knowledge, we'll invent something totally new. That's why it was illegal to teach slaves to read, because if we could read, then we could write. And if we could write, we could communicate. And if we could communicate, we could plan. And if we could plan, we could strategize. And if we can plan and write and read and communicate and strategize, we could overthrow white supremacy, because they've always known how fragile it is.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
I was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. It's always good to talk to good old Eric. Me and him so cool, I just call him Eric. You know, it's not Mr. Attorney General, it's not Mr. Holder, it's not Attorney Holder. That's my guy, Eric.
Hey, you guys seem like good friends.
Oh, yeah. I've been talking to Eric for... I can't even remember the first time I interviewed him. 3 radio stations ago, probably. And then every time he is in Milwaukee, we find some time to chat. He just invited me out to D.C., hang out, have lunch. So next time I find myself in the district, which I don't think I want to go to Washington, D.C. until the Democrats get control of Congress. But yeah, he's a great guy, and I appreciate the work that he does here in Wisconsin. What we will likely see, like how his work materializes in the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, is that we have maps now that have made some of our legislative districts, state assembly and state senate districts, much more competitive. Because around the country, we've had a few special elections since Donald Trump got reelected in 2024 and inaugurated in 2025. And there are districts that Donald Trump won by 10, 15, in some cases 20 points that have been flipped to a Democrat. Usually a district that maybe Trump won or Republican won by like 2 points or 3 points, depending upon what the economy is doing and the popularity of the president, those have the possibility for being turned from one party to another. Now, if Trump won a district by 10 points or more, that's a district that is in jeopardy of being lost by the Republicans. So we have districts in the state of Wisconsin, our state legislature, the Assembly, and the Senate, that were within that margin, or some where Trump won those Assembly districts or Senate districts by 10 points or more. Democrats have a real credible shot, and you will start to see a real change in Wisconsin politics. Now, Tony Evers, while he's not everybody's favorite, he did literally everything he possibly could to curtail Wisconsin from some of the worst conservative and Trump-loving impulses, because most of our legislature here in the state of Wisconsin, the Republicans anyway, are Trump sycophants. So whatever Trump wanted, the Republican legislature did their best to try and enact, but Tony Evers stopped a lot of that stuff, especially with these the vetoes, the line item vetoes that Tony Evers has. So who we select as the next governor is going to be very important. So, speaking of governor, okay, here's what we're doing. I think this is what we're doing. I got to get confirmation. Francesca Hong, who is a candidate for Wisconsin governor, I'm interested in what she has to say now. You guys know how I feel about the socialisms. It's not that it's an inherently bad idea. It just does not focus on what impacts black people, and that's race and how we interface with this system. Democratic socialism just seems to put the bourgeoisie against the proletariat, and of course it's for workers' rights and higher wages and lower cost health care or free health care. But even if we get all of those things, there's still going to be a racial disparity, and they have never answered how they're going to address that. That's number one. Number two, we're stuck with Democrats and Republicans in the legislature. We are. Now, we have a couple of Democratic socialists who are occupying spaces either at the county board or in the Wisconsin State Assembly, and in local areas of government we may have a couple few, right? But that's not enough, because what a Democratic socialist executive would require from the legislature, and remember, the Democrats and the Republicans, they got to find some kind of way to work together. I do not know how. Here's what I'm hoping for, because I remember a time where if the policy made sense, the parties would support it. They would remove partisanship from common sense proposals. An example would be, a long time ago, we used to have a state elections board. It was a 9-member body that oversaw all of the elections in all 1,851 municipalities in the state of Wisconsin. Because we had a Democratic governor at the time, the Democrats had 5 members on the state election board, and the Republicans had 4. So the governor would get an appointee, the leader in the Wisconsin State Senate would get an appointee, the state assembly would get an appointee, a member of the Wisconsin State Supreme Court would get a member on the board. But the Democrats, if there was a Democratic governor or if there was a Republican governor, they got the 5th vote. Well, when I was chair of the state elections board, and I have to apologize to you guys, because the reason why we don't have a partisan state elections board anymore is because of me. What do you want? What do you want me to do? I was appointed by the governor. Come on, relax. I didn't think that they would get that mad at me to where the Republicans wanted to disband the state elections board because of me. I'm sorry. What do you want from me? There's a guy named Mark Green. You may remember him. Maybe you don't. He was a Republican. Well, still is a Republican. And he was running against Jim Doyle. This was in the 2006 gubernatorial election. And what we found with Mark Green, who was a former Republican congressman, he real close to George Bush. He loved him some George Bush. Back during that time, we didn't love George Bush so much. And we were involved in 2 wars at the time. So we really didn't want nor need a George W. Bush acolyte being governor of the state of Wisconsin. You understand? We didn't want that. Wisconsin was like, nah, we don't really want that. So here's what we come to find out. Mark Green raised millions of dollars from special interests while he was in Congress, while he was a Republican in Congress, while he was a Republican in Congress voting for George Bush's wars and voting for troop surges and all of that stuff. And he raised millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then all the money that Mark Green raised when he was in Congress, he took all that money and he dumped it into his campaign for governor in the state of Wisconsin. Well, we don't like that. We don't like you raising money from all these conservative special interest groups and then using that money to try and buy an election here in Wisconsin. So I came up with a plan. I hope I can discuss this and not go to prison. Well, it was 20 years ago, so statute of limitations. I'm probably fine. Mark Green raised, so at the time there was probably about 3 or 4 weeks left until the actual election day. In November of 2006. So we were in the fall, October-ish of 2006. And so I came up with an idea. And remember, I was the appointee of the governor on the state elections board, and I was the chair. Why the hell they made my 29-year-old self chair of that board? They'll never do that again. So I said, wait a minute, guys. Mark Green has raised all of this money from special interests, conservative special interests. He's dumping that money into his gubernatorial campaign. We don't want Washington, D.C. conservative special interest money buying a Wisconsin governor's race. And so I talked to my 4 other Democratic colleagues on the state election board, and I said, guys, we can vote to make Mark Green return that money to those special interest groups, meaning we were going to ban any money that he raised while he was in Congress to influence the governor's race. And then my other Democratic colleagues were like, yo, because I was the only black person on the board. They're like, yo, the black dude is smart. I was like, yo. And they were all like in their 50s and their 60s. They're all lawyers and they're all fancy political people. Then you got me. So we voted. Well, we brought the motion to make. Now, remember, there's 9 people on this board. 4 of them are Republicans and appointed by Republicans. There's 5 Democrats on the board. I'm the chair. I'm appointed by the governor. And I brought the motion. I was like, yeah, we don't want Mark Green to be able to use special interest money that he raised in Washington, D.C. while he was a member of Congress, influencing the Wisconsin gubernatorial race. So I moved to make him give all of his money back or ban him from spending. Now, remember, there's a lot of television commercials going on. There wasn't really any there was no social media, really, but no political advertising on social media. So back then, you got flyers in the mail, and you had a bunch of television commercials when it was a statewide race. The Republicans were very, very angry that we were going to require their candidate, because remember, the 4 candidates or the 4 other board members were supporting Mark Green. But when they realized that we, the Democrats, had the 5 votes, they were very, very angry, but they voted with us to make Mark Green have to divest himself of the money that he raised in Washington, D.C. So here's what happened. Mark Green's television commercials and his radio commercials were immediately cut off because we did not allow him to spend. And the only money that he had left was money he raised when he was in Washington, D.C. So for 3 weeks or a month, you didn't see a Mark Green commercial. You didn't hear a Mark Green radio ad. It was just Governor Jim Doyle. Now, when Mark Green lost that race, the first thing that he said when he gave his concession speech was, damn that state elections board. Damn, damn, damn. So here was the compromise. Because the Republicans in the Wisconsin state legislature were hopping mad because they wanted a Republican governor. And we made their candidate, Mark Green, return all of his Washington, D.C. money. And so Governor Doyle, who got reelected in damn near a landslide, because it's a lot easier to win election when your opponent has $0 to advertise, to send out direct mail, to run TV ads and radio ads. Your boy knew what he was doing when I did that. So the compromise was this. The Republicans, once they returned back to session, that would have been January of 2007, the Republicans put together a bill to permanently ban the Wisconsin State Elections Board because they believed that it was too partisan, and they blamed the Elections Board on why their Republican candidate, former Congressman Mark Green, lost. And Governor Doyle was like, yeah, cool, I'll sign that bill because we don't need it anymore because I got reelected. Governor Doyle served 4 years and he never ran for governor again. I said all that to say this. I was destined for greatness, Xavier. You know what I mean? Because I was young in my career. I was in my 20s, you see. Here's the part that I don't get. They give out these awards, the business community and other stakeholders, the top 40 under 40, where they select 40 business executives. In fact, our vice president here, Greg Scalzo, just recently was nominated and was picked as one of the top 40 executives under the age of 40 years old in the state of Wisconsin or city of Milwaukee or wherever they pull from. I've accomplished a lot. I got a whole room in my house with all of my accolades, my plaques, my trophies, my awards, my recognitions, my Wisconsin Broadcasters Association awards. I'm going to need a new wing to my house. I need to build a ballroom like Trump got to hold all my awards. But for some reason, your boy never got a 40 under 40. Because let me tell you about this. The stuff that I did before I was 30 should have gotten me a 40 under 40. But I also come to find out that they don't often select people that are political in nature. No, I take that back. Jason Fields got one, and Jason Fields was a member of the legislature. I think they just don't like your boy.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Because I have been overwhelmingly pronounced in my partisanship throughout my career. Now, have there been opportunities for me and my other professional endeavors to work with Republicans? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I make it about the policy. And then the Republicans know I don't fool with them because they tend to just pretend like we don't exist. And I'll just give you examples. Yeah, some of it, is dramatic on my part. But the other thing is, you got an election going on right now. You're going to have a bunch of elections happening where the African-American vote is crucial. It really is. Republicans won't come here. They won't come in our community. They're not going to barbershops. They're not having their people knock on doors in our community. They want to pretend like we don't exist. In fact, electorally, they want to evaporate us. All these voter ID things. Look, most of y'all can get an ID, but it's not about most of y'all. It's about a percentage or two of us that have difficulty either getting a birth certificate, if you even have a birth certificate, or getting the necessary identification requirements. I've always been against politicians wanting us to verify who we are in order to vote for them. No. You got to verify who you are before we vote for you. But it's these little things that they do. And the other thing that I've been competing against, most of us that do the kind of work that a lot of us do have been competing against, is that conservative media, it's so uniform in its messaging. If Donald Trump wants to sell something, a policy, an idea, and it can be the worst thing ever, conservative media, and it's not just Fox News, it's influencers, it's podcasters, it's whatever AM, FM talk radio still exists, they literally repeat and recite everything that he wants. It's a uniform message, and there's no dissent. Democrats don't have that. The channels in which Democrats get their political information is very diverse, and it is varied. Republicans and conservatives, they still get their information from just a very narrow strip of avenues, and they repeat the same thing to them. And where conservative talk radio has always been a thorn in my side is you have people that come to the city of Milwaukee, they hate it here, they hate the people here. A lot of them are very bigoted, but they work in the city of Milwaukee. They work in the office buildings downtown. And while they're commuting in from wherever they're coming from, probably Racine, Waukesha, or Washington County, or Dodge County, wherever these folks are coming from, they turn on that conservative talk radio and they ride with that conservative talk radio host all the way into the city of Milwaukee, getting indoctrinated. And then when they get back in their car to go home, radio's still tuned to the same conservative radio station, and they get indoctrinated on the way home as well. Now, imagine somebody coming to the city of Milwaukee and working for 30 or 35 years of stuff they've heard. And who was the first one to do it? Who started it all? Rush Limbaugh. That's right. And so us on the other side of the dial and the other side of the political spectrum, because our folks, we live in the city. We work in the city. So we're not in the car listening to left-leaning, common sense, democratic, moderate radio. If anything, we listen for 8 minutes. And so we have not had the kind of influence, at least in the car. Now things are getting a little bit more even because we're podcasting and YouTubing and downloadable. But that was something that we always had to compete with. Conservative talk radio listeners live further away. They're in the car for longer. They're being indoctrinated for longer because they're hearing the same thing. And guess what happens when they get home? So they had 30, 45 minutes of conservative talk radio driving to work. Maybe an hour of conservative talk radio driving home because traffic might be a little bit thick with 3 C's. And then they get home, what they put on? Fox News. And now those folks are so indoctrinated, their kids and their grandkids are indoctrinated too, and that's what we're competing against. The state Supreme Court candidate debate is tonight at 7 p.m. on WISN Channel 12. I suggest you watch it. The contrast between the candidates is going to be evident and clear. We'll have a discussion about that tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to take a little break. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's that time again for the Tory Low Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we come together to clean up the city of Milwaukee. Be part of making a difference in our community. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, Saturday, April 18th, 8 to noon. Sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, Waste Management, and presented by the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District, your clean water partner, serving greater Milwaukee for 100 years.
As the White House threatens to take over state elections, restrict abortion nationwide, and take away our health care, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is the last line of defense for our rights. That's why the Supreme Court election on April 7th is so critical. The ACLU does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to make an informed decision. When it comes to abortion rights, Maria Lazar supported overturning Roe v. Wade and is endorsed by groups that want to ban abortion. Chris Taylor voted against abortion bans and defended abortion rights while working with Planned Parenthood. And on the issue of voting rights in Wisconsin, Maria Lazar defended efforts to rig elections for one political party through extreme gerrymandering of congressional and legislative districts. Chris Taylor opposes rigging the system with extreme partisan gerrymandering. On April 7th, stand up for our rights. Paid for by American Civil Liberties Union, Incorporated.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
From office lunches to family celebrations, Cousin Subs has the crowd-pleasing catering you need. Choose from customizable party boxes, individual box lunches, fresh-baked cookies, and our classic party chips. Everything you need to satisfy any size group, big or small. Ordering is easy online or on the Cousins app, so you can focus on the fun, not the food. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Oh, look, a text message from Dion, formerly known as Dion the Non-Voter. Those of you that have been listening to 1017 The Truth for some time might be familiar with Dion. He used to call in all the time and give reasons and excuses as to why he has never voted in an election. But I'm glad to say that we turned him. Now, it took 3 years, but we turned him into a voter. Now he's a proud voter, and every time he goes and votes, he lets us know. The first time this man voted, and he's in his late 40s, the first time he ever voted was for Kamala Harris. Better late than never, I suppose. So he just texted in at 833-212-1017 and said he's about to go and vote right now. Look at that. Now you get addicted to it. It's usually a tough sell because everything else in society is when you decide you want something, you just go get it. I can use my thumbs and order toothpaste from Amazon. It'll be in my house by the time I get home. That's the world that we live in. We live in a world of incredible, quick convenience. And if you're a young person, 18, 19, 20, 25, you were born into a world of internet and online convenience. So if you want something, the moment you decide you want something, you can obtain it or get it very soon. Voting in politics does not work that way. In fact, a lot of the votes that we cast now won't be materialized into something tangible until later. In fact, a lot of the voting that we do right now and the political participation that we do right now and the organizing we do right now is for the future. And so let me give you an example, one that is very realistic. What we are seeing right now, including all the stuff you don't like and some of the people that are currently in office, is a result of political organizing from people years ago and decades ago. This is what we have. The social conditions that have been cultivated and have seemed to move at a snail's pace, if not backwards, was cultivated by a lack of participation or a lack of research and a lack of understanding that those people some time ago were voting to create this world, the one that we are in right now. Donald Trump is a political creation 30-plus years in the making because he had flirted with running for president several times. I think maybe in 88, in 2000, I think he toyed with it. He's always been there. And the thing about someone like him, and there will be another. Also, here's the thing. We got to look at him as the problem, not the problem, but a symptom of the problem. The problem is bigger. And here's the thing with Kamala. Kamala wasn't the cure. She was a treatment. She wasn't preventing a nationwide political epidemic of diabetes. Kamala was just the insulin. She would have made it more manageable and more tolerable, maybe. The pain and the underlying illness and the sickness of our society would still be there, but at least we could get some medication in the form of a Democratic woman president. But it was not a cure. And if I look at all of the stuff, all of the frustrations, and we can go down to the minuscule. You guys don't like what you're paying for groceries and gasoline and paying for rent, or at the macro level, our democracy is essentially upended and the United States is about to leave NATO, an organization that we helped found. There's only one remedy for it, and we know what it is. Education. Unbiased, objective education. You ever wonder why in the last couple of election cycles, why really hardcore Trump-loving conservatives have doubled down running for school board? That's usually a position that most people know nothing about. If I ask most voters in the city of Milwaukee who their school board representative is, they probably don't know. And that's very much on purpose because we focus on the bigger things. But the people that are running for school board, they want to make sure that certain books are banned. History about certain people is never taught, or it's whitewashed, or it's removed altogether. They want to have an impact and an influence on the curriculum because they know that if history is taught in chronological order objectively, this would be a very different world, and it would not favor people that have a very conservative political mindset. So they put millions of dollars into school board races because they are the ones trying to indoctrinate our children to remain ignorant. And I focus on education. I didn't used to focus on it so much. I talk about it in one form or fashion every single day. And what we are seeing right now with these children and these takeovers, they are screaming at us that their developmental environments are lacking. Because also, there's far too many of us that, they just need more basketball hoops. No, they don't. They can go play basketball if they want to. No, they don't want to play basketball. And plus, a lot of them aren't good. Why do you think black people are so good at basketball? I'm terrible at it. I can't. I can only really dribble with one hand. So if you guard me on the right, I'm done. I can't dribble with my left hand. The ball goes off my foot. I don't want to stereotype black people, but we're not always good at basketball. If education is the remedy, and I found out that it was through many years of just having conversations, in-person conversations, not just conversations on the radio. The number of us, and when I say us, who I mean. Sometimes I'll use those pronouns, us and them. When I say us, you know who I mean? When I say them, you know who I mean. So us, we know so little about history. It used to warm my heart and make me feel good. Now I just get sad when people say, Sherwin, I never knew that. Like, wait, what? A real specific history about us and who we are and our culture and things that we went through and some of the notable people that helped get us to where we're at a point right now where we take a lot of stuff for granted. 60, 70, 80-year-old people, Sherwin, I never knew that. I never knew that happened. And I don't feel good about that anymore because that means that something was intentionally kept from us. Information, knowledge was kept from us, and it has hampered our progress. And I vowed some time ago to do whatever I can to at least have the conversation about the curriculum that is needed, because I can't have another generation of people in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and their 60s that weren't taught history, because if you don't know what happened, then you're not going to know what is going to happen to you. So we talk about, in fact, we're going to have some interviews with the good folks at City Forward Collective coming up later this month and also in May. And have those deep conversations about education. But it's also the entire environment that we are structuring for young people. And I don't think that they like what we have structured. We are expecting them to walk into the halls of institutions that we all admit that we hate, that we feel trapped by, that have limited our progress. Because, the young people hear us complaining about it. They know that we're unhappy. They also see what's going on. They see what's going on from a much different perspective. And I don't blame them for not wanting to inherit this. But let's be clear about this. This is all our fault. The world that they were born into, we created it. And the rebellion that they are exhibiting needs to be harnessed as a courageous revolution that none of us have the bravery to enact. We're too worried about losing our job or losing our status or losing our title or be looked at badly. These kids don't care about none of that. They got nothing to lose. They have literally everything to gain. And they also know that their collective power, which they're going to need in the future. Now, right now, their collective power is being used for, let's just say it's a little bit unproductive at the moment. But they realize if a bunch of them get together, they can make us move. They can make us panic. They can make us scared. They can make us think about, we need new laws. We need new programs. We need new funding. They can make us move. And I think that's a beautiful thing, but we got to see it for what it is. We are not providing, and we have not provided a developmental environment for these young people to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel nurtured, and to feel loved. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to say about this, and I got to take me a break now. Y'all over here working my nerves now. They are going to be the future leaders of this place. And what we pour into them ultimately is the investment that we're going to get back. We are not going to blame a politician when you have got adults, parents, and guardians that have failed at their job, and now they want to make it an elected official's fault. If you can't provide a certain environment for your children, or the children that are in your purview, the ones that are in your house, and not always your biological children, but if you can't provide an environment for them where they feel safe, loved, nurtured, and taken care of, then what the hell is the mayor going to do about that? We don't listen to the mayor anyway. It's the craziest thing that we expect elected officials to fix everything. We ain't going to listen to them. We don't listen to nobody. In fact, a teacher could call a mother or a father and say, hey, here's what your kid is doing. They're being disruptive in class. And the teacher will get cussed out and yelled at and get beat up. So we got to stop outsourcing the blame. We did it. We did it. Now let's try and fix it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Girl, don't leave me here. Leave me here all alone.
That bass line is crazy. Tonight on Channel 12 at 7 o'clock, you'll be able to see the two candidates for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court face off in a mud wrestling match. No, they're not going to be mud wrestling. Would it be weird? Because you got to do unconventional things. Can we admit you got to do unconventional things and weird things and unorthodox things? Because this is not the old world where everything was all decent and everything was civil. What if, and I'm not saying these two, I'm not saying Chris Taylor and Maria Lazar, not saying them at all, but maybe for a future contest between two women or two men or Byron Nome, that's Christy Nome's husband, that like to dress up like women and take pictures because he's into a fetish. That's why Christy Nome was removed as Department of Homeland Security head because it was too embarrassing for the Trump administration to have one of his department heads of arguably one of the most significant agencies in Trump world, the Department of Homeland Security, because they control ICE, to have the husband of his secretary, Kristi Noem, have pictures released of him with big fake women's breasts wearing some hot pants. That's very embarrassing. So it wasn't the grifting. It wasn't even the fact that Kristi Noem was having an affair with Corey Lewandowski. Everybody knew that. I don't even think that Donald Trump cares about that. I bet you there's a lot of people in Trump world that are having illicit affairs. Look how many he had. And here's the thing. Not only did he have a bunch, it didn't preclude him from getting elected twice in non-consecutive terms. In fact, Trump got worse for his second term. So it's not the humping. It's the fact. That's embarrassing. Why has he got fake breasts underneath his shirt? Why is he wearing pink hot pants? So I think that was the reason why Kristi Noem was removed. So let me get back to why we need to do like unique and unconventional things. I would say that Donald Trump, when he was running, not that you want to emulate everything he did, because only he could do what he did. A Democrat can't run for office, especially president, and just not go to any debates. We wouldn't like that. As voters, we want our candidates to show up. But what if candidates mud wrestle? No, I'm serious. Oh, like you wouldn't watch it. I would watch Joel Brennan and David Crowley mud wrestle. I mean, just for the shock value of it. You know, you got to do unconventional things. And if it's all in good, clean, dirty fun. I'm careful and cautious not to mention 2 women candidates mud wrestling because you guys would probably think that was sexist. I bet there's a bunch of women that weren't paying attention to a particular race, but if they see the 2 candidates mud wrestling in like a kiddie pool, like one of those inflatable kiddie, like a small one, a little small inflatable kiddie pool filled with mud. Up next, Tom Tiffany and Joel Brennan, David Crowley entering the mud ring. I think it would be really funny. It would just get more people, and they still would have like candidate debates, and they still would do the formal things, but then you just schedule a mud wrestle because we want to see who would win. So tonight at 7 o'clock, they're not going to mud wrestle, but Chris Taylor and Maria Lazar, they're candidates running for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. They're going to be on Channel 12 tonight. I'm just picturing these 2 candidates in particular mud wrestling, and I don't want to say their names. Milwaukee's advantage is simple. Lower cost of living than other major metropolitan areas. There's strong legacy industries plus emerging tech layers. Multiple paths in the city of Milwaukee to make $80,000 to $120,000 without elite credentials. Did I give the details of this? No, I didn't. I've got 5 industries in which Milwaukee is going to not only lead the region, but lead the nation and potentially the globe, where our homegrown talent could take advantage of these employment opportunities right here. And I want us to be aware of them because when we are having our conversations with the young people that we fear when they gather, shouldn't we be pouring into them options for employment of what they can do so they can be productive? Because you know what stops somebody from being a criminal person? Giving them an opportunity where they can earn and have their own and they don't have to take it from somebody. Giving them that kind of autonomy where they have the skill set to go out there and get it. Because I think that's what most people prefer. You don't want to have to rob everybody for every meal. You want to have everything that you need so you can be self-sufficient in the job market and make a decent living and do it legitimately. Going to talk about those industries on the other side. We already talked about the cost of living in Milwaukee compared to other metropolitan areas of similar size and demographic, and Milwaukee is definitely punching above its weight in that we have a lower cost of living than other comparable cities. Let's talk about some of the industries that are uniquely ours. that can be great opportunities for people now and in the future. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube. How? Every day from 1 to 4. Truth Nation, I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. Hey, how? I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful.
Are you planning a special event? Do you need a personal chef? Either way, make it tasteful. I'm Alicia the Chef, owner of Tasteful Events Catering, and we create customized food experiences for any occasion. We bring quality, flavor, and professionalism to every table. Whether it's a special event or everyday meal solutions, we focus on delivering more than just food. We create experiences. Book today or learn more online at www.tastefuleventscatering.com.
Hi, I'm Greg Fritsch, president of the Center for Veterans Issues, inviting you to get involved in supporting the CVI mission. The Center for Veterans Issues is proud to serve veterans across Wisconsin. Each year, we help more than 1,200 veterans stay housed, find meaningful employment, and connect with the support they've earned. From housing assistance and job training to case management and suicide prevention outreach, our team is here to help veterans build stable, independent lives. If you're a veteran in need of support, visit cvivet.org. Donations can also be accepted at cvivet.org/donate.
Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th at Franklin Field, featuring live performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th. Get your tickets at tacoandtequilafestival.com.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's okay to date somebody you work with. I mean, what if that's where your spouse is? What if you find your spouse at work? Don't dismiss your blessings. And maybe a lot of people meet their person at work.
And sounds like those are successful Me Too's.
No, you gotta know how to do it. The woman just has to be attracted to you. If a woman's attracted to you, the problem is men don't oftentimes know how to read the subtleties of a woman. If a woman really likes you, you don't even have to take her out to eat. You don't got to do any. You got to spend no money if she if she likes you. You can just do it in the car. No, I'm serious. Like, men think, oh, I'm gonna buy her love. You trick. Unless that's the arrangement. But thinking like, oh, I'm gonna wine and dine this woman, and eventually, well, no, she's just gonna get used to spending your money, and she'll keep you hanging on and hanging on. Next thing you know, a year and $25,000 worth of dinners and concerts later, you still in the friend zone, sucker. sending good morning texts and stuff. Good morning, beautiful. Thinking about you. Have a good day at work. You're a sucker. I know the ladies getting mad at me. Don't get mad, ladies. All right, here we go. Healthcare and healthcare systems are the most stable jobs and industries in Milwaukee, and they're in the highest demand. Largest employment sector locally in Milwaukee is healthcare and healthcare systems. The job growth is steady at 3% every single year. And a lot of these jobs are unfilled, but the open positions in healthcare and healthcare industry systems is growing every year. Healthcare, ladies and gentlemen, is recession resistant. Don't matter what the economy is, if you break your face, you got to go to the hospital. Hello, sir, can I help you? Yes. How can we help you here at the hospital? My face is broken. Come right on in. We'll fix your face. Oh, speaking of healthcare and hospitals, I'm old now, so now I got to do all the healthcare things. Colonoscopies, that's no big deal. You got to go get your physical and you got to get your checkups. You got to do all that stuff. You got to check under the hood. I have to do a stress test in a couple of weeks. That's where they look at your heart. They put you on a treadmill and they run you like a hit mule, and then they test your heart. So I'm not going to be here. What date is it? I think it's April 14th or 15th. I ain't going to be here because I got to do a stress test. I got to get on the treadmill. And they hook a bunch of stuff up to you.
I'll host the show.
No, you won't. You ain't going to host this one. I mean, no offense. But no, we don't do that here. No, buddy. It is not as easy as I make it look. I know you got a whole bunch of stuff to say.
Oh, yeah.
But nah.
I can withhold a 3-hour show.
Well, a lot of
segments.
So could Trump. That don't mean nobody want to hear it. No offense to you. You know what I mean? But this audience, our audiences are very different. Here's how I learned that. There used to be a time where we would fill in for each other. So this is a long time ago. My show and Tori's show were back to back. I used to be 10-1. Tori has always been 1-4. So when Tori was doing stuff, I remember one time he was coming back from Madison. He was at a hearing or he was testifying on something. I would host the show until Tori came back. And we all filled in for each other. I filled in for Dr. Kim before I filled in for Tori. Kyle's show didn't exist at the time. And Tori's audience, they didn't hate me, but they wanted Tori. And I respect that. I totally do. Dr. Ken's audience wasn't as bad because he and I, believe it or not, share some social/political stances. Mostly because we're just old, angry black men. And once you get into that stage of old anger and you're black, it all just kind of, we become the same. But no, I don't, because we have to differentiate. Because there's stuff that I like to talk about that nobody else cares about except for me. That don't make good radio. I used to think so. Sometimes I would just talk about me and my life and what I did, and nobody cares. Like, nobody gives a hoot. What makes sense, or at least what I would want to listen to, and I don't listen to talk radio because, how does what's happening at the local level, state level, regional and national, and maybe even international level, how does that impact me? What am I going to see? How's my life going to be different? How's my life going to be harder, easier? What opportunities exist for me? How do I navigate all this stuff that's going on? Because people can read the headlines on their own. But what does it mean here? Like, what's going on behind the scenes? Right? How can I get involved? How can I get engaged? How can I make a change based upon what is happening right now in our world? And if you're able to break that down for people, and varying degrees of success of breaking that stuff down, because some of it makes no sense whatsoever. But then there's other things, especially elections that have the ability to shield, protect, and safeguard us from the worst impulses of the other political party. I try and explain that stuff. Registered nurses make between $70,000 and $95,000 a year. Oh, they make more than that. This is on average in Milwaukee. Physician's assistants between $100,000 and $130,000. Healthcare administrators and operators, $80,000 to $100,000. This is to start. Medical technology, radiology, lab workers, $55,000 to $85,000. I am seeing more and more black women occupying these fields, and I'm glad they are. Recession-proof, great income, incredible benefits. Being a nurse isn't easy because people are gross. You guys have any nurse friends? Ask them what a bad day is like. So tell your nurse friends about your bad day, okay? Then ask your nurse friends to tell you about one of their bad days. Oh, I had a terrible day. The radio show didn't go so good. Blah, 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 blah. Sherwin, I had to stuff somebody's bowels back into the rectum, and then I had to go to lunch. A patient threw up on my face. Some patients, you're going to love this, can't get up and use the bathroom. Nurse! Yep. I went again. Yeah, come. Oh, my. You got to be a special kind of human being. And then the nurses have to deal with the families? Oh, my God. Oh, it's so bad. I don't know how. The nurses don't make enough. Teachers should make more money, but don't just pay them just more money without, like, benchmarks. Teachers, because they got to deal with kids that when they get together, we call the police on. Think about that. Those kids, basically, classrooms are takeovers. When you think about it, classroom is the takeover of YNs. Teachers should make more money, but nurses should too. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hello, is this Shirley?
This is she.
Shirley, you are our Gruber 5K giveaway winner this quarter. Congratulations.
What would you do with $5,000?
Trying to look at buying me a pickup truck. That will be some of my down payment.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
I love you guys.
Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
Another function of white supremacy, don't teach black people stuff, because if you give us a little bit of knowledge, we'll invent something totally new. That's why it was illegal to teach slaves to read, because if we could read, then we could write. And if we could write, we could communicate. And if we could communicate, we could plan. And if we could plan, we could strategize. And if we can plan and write and read and communicate and strategize, we could overthrow white supremacy, because they've always known how fragile it is.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. There are 5 industries in Milwaukee that are going to lead us into the future. Some of them are recession-proof. All of them are high-paying. And we lead the state, the region, the country, and maybe even the world in these 5 career opportunities, options, and avenues. And maybe we should start pouring some of this into the young people, because we need to give them some kind of direction other than the trades. And if you want to be a tradesperson, by all means, we need people that are going to be carpenters and welders. What else? Mechanics. HVAC, that stands for heating and ventilation and air conditioning. Gonna need all those people, but sometimes you need an electrician to make your electricity work. We're gonna need those people, but you need to have an aptitude for that stuff. Yeah, you don't go and be an electrician and you don't like wires. You gotta like electricity. You gotta like lightning. I don't know. You gotta be into it. You gotta know volts and amps. Watts, right? Watts are electric. Yep. You got to know that stuff. You have to be fascinated by it. Some of you have had jobs where you just weren't into it. Like it wasn't a passion of yours. Yeah, you'll do it. But it's not the same. Once you find your thing, it feels good sometimes going to work. Having a real good job that you love, where you can exhibit your creativity, it's a wonderful feeling. I was going to compare it to something, but a lot of y'all get mad when I take the show in a naughty direction. I can't help it. All right. Thomas says, Thomas, you silly person. Not sure how to compare Sherwin's interview with Eric Holder and Tory's interviews with Ron Johnson. All I know is Eric is much smarter than Ron. There's a few other comparisons I think you can make, Thomas. First of all, no comparison. Eric Holder is not running for anything. Ron Johnson was running for the Senate. Ron Johnson has a history of being very supportive of Donald Trump. Eric Holder has a history of being supportive of Barack Obama. There's a lot of differences there. So I don't know what you're trying to compare. Sincere Ronnie Ray Real says, should we raise a free Sherwin campaign? T-shirts coming right up. Wait a minute. Hold on. What you mean free Sherwin? Where I'm going? The people coming for me? Y'all gotta let me know now.
You didn't say anything.
I'm sure I did. He said, should we raise a free Sherwin campaign? T-shirts coming right up. Well, hell, give me a T-shirt. I'll wear a free Sherwin T-shirt. E. Gibson says, did you get an honorable mention, Sherwin? Oh, you talking about for the 40 under 40? No. That doesn't work like that. I started radio when I was in my 30s. Some of the people that would nominate me, or some of the people that are affiliated with that accolade, the top 40 under 40, I have talked about mercilessly. They don't like that. I don't attack people like personally unless you deserve it. I may attack the output or lack thereof of a person's work. Because if you have an obligation to do good work because you're representing the public and you don't do good work, I'm going to name you and I'm going to say, hey, your work is not very good. People take that stuff so personal. Oh, I've had people get real mad at me. Because here's the thing. If I suck, y'all will tell me, and I want you to. And you do when I suck sometimes. It's not often. It's not often. Because I have an obligation and a responsibility to convey information. If I'm not doing it right or effectively, like I have to know that so I can get better. There are some people that suck and just don't want anyone to say anything. And the problem is there's a lot of really nice people in this town. Horrible at their jobs. Awful. In fact, it's detrimental, meaning when they leave that position, somebody's going to have to spend years cleaning it up. But they're really nice people. And really nice people, especially in the upper Midwest, people are always nice to nice people. But if you're terrible at your job and you are not a good steward of the public, I have to, you know what I mean? I got to say something about that. And I've had people get mad at me. But what I'm going to do? Because I know that there's been some people that, well, not really many anymore. Anybody can get it now. But there used to be people that we would hold sacred where you never talk about them. Like there's some black pastors. I've learned that lesson. Oh, yeah, because some black pastors are gay.
Yeah, of course.
But you can't tell a parishioner, black women have these really like intimate, not intimate sexually, but they love their pastors more than Jesus. And if I know the truth about them, they don't want to hear that. Like whenever I talk about religion, my mother gets really mad. If I ask her, like, hey, Mama, where is anybody in the Bible buried? You going to hell. Well, no, just answer the question. Jeez. Or I'm just perplexed by it because I have a logical way. Like, I need logic. I need objective facts. Otherwise, the world makes no sense to me. I can't just live my life with magic miracles. I need to know, like, what is behind something that occurs. So this one has been bothering me. They wouldn't teach us to read, but they give us a Bible. The only day that we got off was Sunday. This is in the slavery, the antebellum period. And we were taught intensely about Christianity. If you look at other places, because the United States is not the only country, very rarely do you have the oppressor and the oppressed worshiping the same religion. A lot of our fights and our arguments and our wars are two separate theological perspectives if you just look globally. Rarely do you have a people that are oppressed that follow the same religion and the religious doctrine and holy teachings of the people that are oppressing them. So that I find, I guess, a little inconsistent. And doesn't the Bible, in some kind of way, and some of you that have read it will know much better than me, doesn't it give you the keys to heaven? It tells you about the kingdom of heaven. Somewhere, it's a lot of chapters. Why are Bible pages always so thin? We can have that conversation another day. Oh, yes, I am going to get back to the high-income job opportunities and career paths in Milwaukee. Don't worry, they're not going anywhere. But I'm just confused by if the slave master did not see us really as human beings. We were chattel. We were property. We had no rights. We really weren't even considered human. We were 3/5 of a human being. Can we agree that they thought really low of us? I mean, they still think low of us now, but back then, if you told a slave master, like, yeah, hey, I want to go somewhere, I want to leave, he'd say, no. They were really mean to us. They hated us. They would kill us and do all sorts of things. Right? We know that much about history. But if they hated us so much on earth, why would they give us the keys to heaven? Did you ever think about that for a second? Because they probably thought they were very much going to heaven, and they're thinking like, oh, here's a Bible. I'm going to teach you how you can get into heaven too. There's something about that doesn't sit well with me, because if you demean and demoralize and demonize a people the way a slave master did his property, why would you give the people that you despise the keys to the kingdom of heaven? Because it's the same religion. So you have to think, if the slave master, who believes it is in fact biblical to own slaves, there's slavery in the Bible, and the slave master is like, I'm not doing anything wrong. This is legal. It's legitimate. These people are my property. It's backed up in the Bible, and I'm just going to follow the teachings of Jesus, and I'm going to share these biblical messages with my slaves. Why would they want us to be in their heaven? Did they teach us that we went to a separate heaven? Can anybody answer this for me? Like, why would the people that hate us so very much give us their religion and give us the option to join them in heaven? I don't know if I was a slave, I'd want to be in slave master's heaven, because what if you die and you're like, oh, this is great, I was a good slave and I'm going to go to heaven. And then you get there and you see your slave master. I've been waiting on you. We got some clouds that need to be picking. You know, clouds look just like cotton. That would be so disappointing. Like, here you are in the afterlife, and you're still a slave because your slave master gave you the religion that you followed. You went to heaven, and your slave master's like, surprise. Oh, you shocked to see me? I'm the one that gave you that pocket-sized Bible, and you read it, and now look it. That just seems... Did I say anything offensive right there? Was that offensive at all? Because sometimes I lose my ability to determine offensive stuff.
Well, I'm kind of a hard judge to, You're
not a religious person?
Come up with that, because when I saw someone speaking tongues when I was a kid, I thought that was crap. And then, I just totally went against it after that.
I imitated somebody speaking tongues a couple of times on air. I won't do that again. They don't...
What?
They didn't like it.
Talking tongues?
Oh, yeah. Because I can imitate it real good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just... Hey,
why you make it sound like Swahili?
That's tongues, though, right? That's what it sounded like when I was... And then you shake, and then you make all the kind of noises.
Ooh-wee.
But, the brain on religion is... that's a whole nother thing.
That wasn't me that said that, y'all. That was Xavier. He's here all week.
The ghost.
Direct your complaints to Good Karma Brands, 301 West Wisconsin Avenue, Suite 200. Y'all know the address. All right, what do we got here? 5 industries. We did healthcare. Ooh, advanced manufacturing and skilled trades. Here, all you tradespeople. It made the list. Advanced manufacturing and skilled trades offers high pay without a 4-year degree. Why it stands out: still a core economic engine with major employers and exports, strong industrial demand in Milwaukee, and ongoing facility expansion. Some of the best roles. Oh, we don't mention this one very much. A CNC machinist or / industrial tech. Starting pay $60,000 to $90,000 a year. I don't even know what this word is. Mechatronics / automation technology, $70,000 to $100,000 a year to start. An industrial engineer, you got to get an engineering degree for that. That's between $75,000 and $110,000. An electrician, and I don't know why they have it combined with this other profession, a pipe fitter. I bet some of y'all know how to fit some pipe. $65,000 to $100,000 a year to be an electrician. Well, I guess you put the wires in a pipe. You fit the electric wires in the pipe. Pipe fitters and electricians between $65,000 and $100,000 plus, it says. Why it's ideal for people in the city of Milwaukee and surrounding areas: it's a fast path to middle-class income. There's overtime potential, which can make all of the aforementioned jobs go deep into the 6 figures, and lower student debt, especially with technical colleges. So it's not that I'm against the trades. It's just I think we oversimplify it, because a lot of folks know the benefits and the money that you can make. But being an engineer and knowing some of this stuff is a lot of math. A ton of it. And you got to know. So I never took calculus because I didn't have to graduate from high school. Now the kids, maybe you got to take calculus. I don't know. But had I taken calculus, I would better understand how to read stock charts because stock charts moved with this calculus involved. And I don't know all that stuff, reading the charts and the moving and averages and convergences and divergences and all the charts and all the different things. That's a lot of stuff that I don't know. Here's another industry that's growing quickly in Milwaukee: finance, insurance, and corporate services. And they say this has some of the highest income ceilings in the region. Why it stands out in Milwaukee: major sector locally, finance, insurance, and real estate. Headquarters and large employers are expanding their hiring in Milwaukee. Some of the best roles that you can have in the finance, insurance, and corporate services industries are a financial analyst, between $70,000 and $100,000 to start. An actuarial or a risk analyst. You know what? JD the Poet brought that up some time ago. That's something that we never talk about. So an actuarial is somebody that predicts risk for insurance companies, and they help insurance companies set different rates. There's a person that does that, and they make buku dollars. Actuarials in Milwaukee started between $80,000 and $130,000. Make you holla. Then there's corporate strategy / operations. That's between $90,000 and $140,000. And then sales. You got to be a certain person to do sales. You do. I am not a salesperson. I couldn't do it. If I had to make my money off of selling somebody something, I'd be better off robbing them. Because I don't know how to. And you got to be deceptive. Seriously, a good salesperson they're kind of a little slimy. They're rarely above board. They are. They got a little sneak to them. Like used car salesmen, they're a little sneaky. You know what I mean? Especially people that, and a lot of folks are getting into real estate. Real estate is like, they were stay-at-home moms for a while. Now they want to get back into the work world, or they're like former strippers that want to turn their lives around. There's always just, I don't know, something about, I don't know, real estate people are just slick. Because you gotta slick somebody out of their money. You got to use all these different tools and tricks. I shouldn't say anything negative about sales because we have a fantastic sales department here at Good Karma Brands, but I'm not one of them. I can't. So, if anything, I would be more likely to find a bargain. Oh, hey, Sherwin, I'm here to visit you at this car lot because Sherwin is a used car salesman. I'd be like, nah, you better off going down the street. They got cheaper Chevrolets. And that doesn't do anything for my pocketbook because I need the sale to make the commission. And I'd be sending people to Ford dealerships and Hyundai dealerships because you blacks love a Hyundai. What is it about Hyundais and Kias?
Affordable.
Well, anything is affordable. If there's a vehicle of every make and model in every conceivable price range. If you got $10,000 either in cash or to finance, you can get 90 different cars for you can get 90 different cars for $5,000. Why a Hyundai or a Kia? I do not understand. You know it's going to get stolen. And if you get a Hyundai or the other one, I'm convinced these cars are given away free. Nissan Altimas. There's something about a Nissan Altima. When you get one, it's got to have damage. It's got to have a fender that's broken. It's got to have a headlight that does. It has to, okay? And if you have a Nissan Altima, you never have to have a license plate. I'm serious. I think it might be written in the state law. Maybe we should talk to Tony Evers about that because I don't know if I've ever in my life seen a Nissan Altima with a license plate. And then if you want to get fancy with it, if you want to get like a higher level Nissan Altima, anything by Infiniti. Infinitis and Altimas are probably responsible for as much like car accidents, car thefts as Budweiser is responsible for domestic violence. Oh, speaking about domestic violence, that's not funny. It's not a funny topic. But you know who has the highest rates of domestic violence? We don't call it domestic violence. Intimate partner violence, because people don't always live together. Lesbians. Isn't that crazy?
I would not have imagined that.
Oh, I do. I know how women get along. Not very well. They also have the highest divorce rate and the highest incidences of intimate partner violence. So, I mean, scientifically, women are the problem.
You know, I always wondered, why does, in those relationships, it always seems like one always emulates a man and then one emulates like the female thing. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
I won't agree or disagree with what I can't. That's controversial.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think we're having a controversial show today, I guess.
Oh, I've done way worse.
Yes.
This is tame. Yeah, lesbian dudes are cool though.
Lesbian dudes?
Yeah, those are my guys.
Oh, like the stud?
Yeah, they're gentlemen.
That's politically correct thing to say.
I can kick it with them because we can chase women together, and they're down to fight. Hey, Sherwin, you want to go watch the game? Yeah, I watched the game with you, sir.
All right. Do they have a sturdy chin?
I'd like to think so. Or they can always say, you wouldn't hit a girl, would you? And then most guys will be like, oh, you're right. And then the lesbian, boom, but I'd hit a dude. And then there you go. And you finish drinking your beer and finish watching the game. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's that time again for the Tory Low Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we come together to clean up the city of Milwaukee. Be part of making a difference in our community. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, Saturday, April 18th, 8 to noon. Sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, Waste Management, and presented by the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District, your clean water partner, serving greater Milwaukee for 100 years.
Are you planning a special event? Do you need a personal chef? Either way, make it tasteful. I'm Alicia the Chef, owner of Tasteful Events Catering, and we create customized food experiences for any occasion. We bring quality, flavor, and professionalism to every table. Whether it's a special event or everyday meal solutions, we focus on delivering more than just food. We create experiences. Book today or learn more online at www.tastefuleventscatering.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Zauner, Marine Corps veteran and board member for the Center for Veterans Issues, calling on the community to tee it up for a great cause. On Monday, June 15th, CVI is hosting its 5th annual golf outing at the River Club in Mequon. This year's event is supporting CVI's permanent supportive housing program, dedicated to assisting chronically homeless or disabled veterans and their families. Grab your clubs and support our veterans today. Register to golf, sponsor, or donate at cvivet.org/events.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Shaquanda wants to know, what are the names of the songs they're playing? I have a Spotify playlist, and I got to be careful because this is the music, like my personal playlist. So when I get in the vehicle, this is the music that comes on. Some of it's got cussing in it, and I can't always remember which songs have the cussings in them. So I play from my playlist. Sometimes I add songs based upon whatever the topic is. I got to stop doing that, though, because YouTube will sometimes suppress my video because I'm playing very copyrighted music, which isn't fair because we're a radio station. Radio stations should be able to play all of the different kinds of music, and we can if we just broadcast it, but YouTube acts funny sometimes. So Dr. Ken told me that he provides his playlists for people that ask for it. Like, he can send people his music playlist on his show, which I don't know how he does that. But is Dr. Ken's music even good? Like, he plays like 90s weird music. What does he play, Xavier? You produced the show for a little bit, didn't you?
Like, that Bobby Brown stuff, and like that Kids on the what's that band that Bobby Brown was in, New Edition or whatever?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Huh?
Yeah.
Who the hell wants that playlist? Like, sure, when I provide the playlist to people when they ask for it.
I don't know. People that likes to listen to 90s bebop. Is that what that's called?
You said 90s bebop. Whoa! Because with music, you can listen to anything from anyone all the time. Any song you've ever heard, you can listen to for free. We used to have to go to a record store, and we used to have to buy cassette tapes. Maybe you'd hear the single on the radio, and you go get the whole album. And the album would be terrible sometimes, but you bought the whole thing to hear one song. Or you bought the cassette single for 99 cents or $2.99 or whatever they cost. Now you can just listen to it. I pay like $9-10 a month for Spotify. It's the best $9-10 a month I could spend. Because it's all the music that I want. You can organize it into playlists by genre. It even recommends songs for you. It asks you what you want to listen to, and it just will make music start playing out of nowhere. I like it. It's worth it to me. Netflix I will not pay for. Netflix just raised their prices again. And Netflix isn't even all that good. Maybe a couple times a year, Netflix will have a show or a special that I want to see. But I can't. People, sure, why are you being so cheap? I ain't cheap. I'm financially literate. Because I pay a lot of money for a lot of different convenience apps. I got Sling TV instead of cable. I got Spotify. I got a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? And it all adds up. But I think I guess I could make this playlist shareable. I think it's Shaquanda. Is Shaquanda? Yeah. Shaquanda, do you have the Spotifys? I don't do Apple Music. Apple is a cult. Because Apple makes you buy all Apple stuff. You can't even use a normal person charger. I don't understand the affinity with what's called. I'm never going to understand it. Oh, Sherwin, where do you get your Android phone fixed when you crack the screen? I've never cracked the screen in an Android phone. I've had the same phone since, I think this phone is 10 years old. And here's the problem with this phone. Like, there's some apps I can't download because my phone is too old. Eventually, I'm going to have to get another one, but I don't. All these apps on here, I don't want to have to go through and redo all the passwords on them. Because passwords don't transfer when you upgrade your Android phone. Oh, sure. Well, when do you get your phone fixed? I don't. This phone has been dropped on a hardwood floor 3 times a week for 10 years, and it's still ticking. Why would I replace the phone? Why do y'all do that? Oh, I got to get the new phone. Is it even that different than the previous phone? And those phones are expensive. iPhones are like $1,000. No, thank you. $1,000. That's a little mini computer. $1,000. To do what? To send nudes? Xavier, you be sending nudes? Don't say yes.
I plead the fifth.
That's gross. Don't do that. Oh no, don't do that. Never do that. Now, if you won't receive them, I can't control what somebody sends me now. Are you saying that on there, or are you just saying that in my ear? Y'all do what you got to do. I ain't mad at nobody. In fact, you know what? I don't care what anybody does anymore. I do not care. I do whatever you want. Listen, Byron Nome, he sent a picture of his balloon titties. Do what you need to do. Sherwin is not going to judge you.
Yeah, sometimes you can't be afraid to show it off.
Yeah, but if you send that stuff to a woman, she's going to show all her friends. Because we do.
Yeah, I don't.
Sherwin, if I send you this picture, you got to promise not to show anybody, okay? You promise? Yup.
You're bad. See, I don't. Yeah, see, you're not supposed to kiss and tell, man.
That's not kissing.
Oh,
She sent me,
That's
first
an
of all,
intimate moment.
if I got a photo album, I'm going to show people. Back in the day, entertainment was, hey, you guys want to look through the photo album? And you pull out your photo album and you would just flip through the photo album. I got a photo album in my phone. You want to see a picture? I'll show you a picture. You got to promise not. That's ridiculous.
Is it?
Promise not to show nobody, okay? If you don't want me to show anybody, you probably shouldn't send it. No, here's what I won't do. I won't send the photo to another person, but I'll let them see the phone. I mean, look at this here.
See, okay.
I bet you ain't never seen nothing like this.
Ladies, you've been warned, I guess.
They know. They don't. They all got nudes in their phone. All of them do.
Yeah. It's the 21st century.
I just want to see how I look. Who does that? The last thing I want to see is a picture of myself naked in my photographs. I would delete me immediately. If I was scrolling and I came across a naked picture,
you don't love yourself like that?
And I don't want to see it. I've been in this body for half a century, bro. I know what every bit, piece, inch, centimeter looks like. I don't need. No, I don't even want to know what you got in your phone, buddy. Please don't.
I don't think you do.
No, I don't. Ever. Whew. I got to be careful, though, because I might die. And then somebody's going to have to get my phone to get, there's stuff like affairs that may need to get, settled and banking stuff. Oh, we got to get in this phone. Okay, yeah, we need the password. We got to do all the things so we can take care of all of these things. Whoever's going to be watching over my estate. Well, should we look at his photos? Maybe he has some final moments in his photos.
You don't have a secured folder?
No. Why would I do that?
Well, just in case.
Because I don't have anybody. If somebody goes through my phone, I don't have a significant other or something where if I did have a significant other, because I'm not deleting pictures of ex-girlfriends.
Oh, okay.
And some women, you need to get her out of your phone. I will do no such thing.
Yeah, then that goes into your secure folder.
Yeah, exactly. But since I don't, right now, if somebody's like, oh, sure, can I look in your phone? Yeah, go ahead. Don't get your feelings hurt, though. Yeah, I don't have, and also, there's no little kids running around playing with my phone. I don't have anything. Because if I had a secure folder, I'd end up forgetting the password. So no, I don't have. And there's some pictures that, the picture we posted yesterday of Byron Nome, I sent the screenshot to myself. So someone going through my phone might think that I'm a freak because they see I got Byron Nome's titties. Well, I don't know if I can say that word.
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Breasts.
I didn't say breast, though. I had his balloon augmentations in my phone. If somebody found my phone or going through my phone, oh, snap, Sherwin was a freak. There's it's called bimbofication, where men dress up or they prefer women that are shaped like overly siliconed fake women, and he was imitating that, I guess. So I deleted the picture, though, because I don't need that taking up memory. But yeah, I got all the pictures from all of our different events and our Beyond the Mic events and our Juneteenth days. And sometimes I take selfies with people, and sometimes I take pictures when I go to the basketball games and whatnot. So, yeah, but I don't have anything secure. I said I was going to be talking about these damn high-income jobs. Well, let's do one more, then we got to take a break. I think this is 5. Logistics, supply chain, and distribution. It's an underrated, high-earning series of jobs, vocations, and professions, and it's going to see explosive growth in the Milwaukee area. 148,000-plus workers in the trade and transport sector in Milwaukee, and it's growing. Milwaukee is a regional logistics hub because of the Great Lakes and our highways. The best roles are supply chain analysts making between $65,000 and $95,000 a year to start, logistics managers making between $80,000 and $120,000 a year, operations managers managing a warehouse pays $110,000. CDL, commercial driver's license / specialized transport, they can make between $60,000 to $100,000. Why it's ideal? There's high demand and relatively low barriers to entry, rapid advancement into management, and these are critical industries that are stable even in economic recession. So maybe we should be sharing some of these professions with young people because we want them to have the best opportunities possible to make good family-supporting wages. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From office lunches to family celebrations, Cousin Subs has the crowd-pleasing catering you need. Choose from customizable party boxes, individual box lunches, fresh-baked cookies, and our classic party chips. Everything you need to satisfy any size group, big or small. Ordering is easy online or on the Cousins app, so you can focus on the fun, not the food. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Sweet Talk's Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
If oil gets to $90 a barrel, I'll be able to pay off my house. I think war is awful. It's terrible. It doesn't resolve things. It creates long-lasting hatred and even more conflict that the American people are always going to find themselves involved in.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon.
But if I don't have a mortgage, you know what I mean? You take the good with the bad. Didn't Donald Trump say he was going to end the wars? You can't have America first if you're involved in all these foreign wars. And there's people that believed him when he said that. He doesn't like wars. He said it many times. Said it on the campaign trail.
Catch it live on YouTube or tune in to 1017 The Truth.
He's bombed just as much in his first year as any warmongering hawk president we've ever seen since World War II.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're going to need to make some of the salaries and incomes that I listed in those fast-growing Milwaukee professions because We Energies is seeking a 14% residential electric rate hike by 2028. The 6th increase since 2020. Wait a minute. So no increase in natural gas, which is what we heat our homes with here in southeastern Wisconsin. Why you gotta hike up the electricity again, We Energies, because you know that I'm driving an electric vehicle. I am enjoying very reasonable rates to charge my vehicle. I don't need that going up. Paying 10 cents per kilowatt hour, which means nothing to most of you, but it means a lot to me. Did you know that? So it's hard for me to conceptualize what a kilowatt hour is. You have to look it up. It'll make more sense to you if you look it up. I'm not going to go into it. But we pay, so from 9 p.m. No. Let me get this right. At 9 p.m. at night, our kilowatt hours that we are charged for using electricity goes down to 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Before 9 p.m., so from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., so that 12-hour block, basically overnight, we're only paying 10 cents per kilowatt hour. But the rest of the day, so starting at 9 a.m. till 9 p.m., we're paying 49 cents a kilowatt hour. It is 5 times cheaper to use electricity. And then the weekends, it's all 10 cents a kilowatt hour. So I have the ability to set when I want my vehicle to start charging, and my vehicle starts charging at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. And it takes, like, if I have a lot of driving, like I did a bunch of driving yesterday. I was in Oak Creek yesterday. I went to Oak Creek. I was going to see my guy at the packing house, but he wasn't there. Where else I go yesterday? I had to run errands yesterday. I was all throughout the county. Milwaukee County is surprisingly big. And when you're in some of these other suburban areas, it feels like you're in another state. So I was all up in the Oak Creeks and all over by the airport. Then I had a little stop I had to do over in the Wauwatosa. So I was riding all around. And I think I probably drove, all told, about 30 miles. 35 miles running my little errands all day yesterday. That probably cost me 15, 20 cents of electricity. So it's very efficient. But I don't need We Energies raising my rates now. We Energies customers can expect their monthly electric bills to increase as the utility invests in new power generation for data centers and its transition to clean energy. Before you say bad stuff about data centers, we gotta have them. Because you use a bunch of data. Y'all are using your phones and using the cloud to store pictures you'll never even look at again. Like, all of that requires data to be stored somewhere. So if you don't want to have all the data centers, and if you don't want your We Energies bills to go up, stop taking nudes. Stop posting stuff on Instagram that nobody cares about. Speaking of Instagram will recommend people I should follow. I don't know what Instagram knows about me, but I don't know why it's recommending those people. I wish I could show you, but I'm not going to subject myself to that kind of ridicule and embarrassment. Like, oh, here's Sherwin. Here's some people that you should know and follow. Like, why would I? It's usually women with very curvy posteriors, which, okay, but if I just followed women on Instagram with curvy posteriors, I wouldn't get anything done. We Energies is seeking a 9.2% electric rate hike for all non-data center customers, residential and business, over the next 2 years, according to a proposal submitted to state regulators on April 1st. The utility plans to raise rates 4.7% in 2027 and another 4.5% the following year in 2028. Residential customers would see rates rise 9.25% in 2027 and 5.5% in 2028. That would add roughly $13 to monthly electric bills in 2027 and another $8 to $9 in 2028. That is going to start getting expensive. The typical residential customer, yeah, right. $142.66 per month is the typical residential customer. No way. Even if I got on a budget plan, I'd be paying more than $142.66. This was a cold winter. I think my biggest We Energies bill was $344. But in the summertime, though, my We Energies bills are routinely, even with charging my vehicle, are routinely under $100. So it almost is better for me to weather the like 2 or 3 months of relatively high We Energies bills, but then to pay less than $100 a month for July for sure, August, September. Hell, it's hot even into October. And then in November, because, I fight it. I fight turning the heat on. I'm one of those because I don't want to admit that winter is coming. It'd be cold as hell in my house. And I'm like, I ain't turning it on. You better get a blanket. You better go get a hoodie. But sure, when it's cold, you better cuddle. No, it's cold in here. You better wear some socks. I got some house shoes you could put on, and it's cold. Here, riddle me this, Batman and women. I got to say this, and I got to take a break. If it's, this is April, okay? Let's say it's like 67 degrees. It's not today. But let's say you walk outside, it's 67 degrees in April. It feels warm. Or like 67 degrees in March. We might have even hit 60 degrees in February. We have weird weather. You walk outside in February and it's 60 degrees, like you want to wear shorts and a t-shirt. It feels so warm. That sun feels warm. You might even break a little bit of a sweat. If it's 60, 65 degrees in the middle of winter, it feels really warm. Like warm, like comfortable warm, right? Why, if it's 60 or 65 degrees in your house, you're freezing? Can somebody explain that to me? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You walk outside on February 19th and it's 62 degrees. Like, oh, snap. I want to take off my shirt and pants because it's warm. But if it's 62 degrees in your house, you can damn near see your breath. Why is that? You can literally go from a 62-degree house and be freezing, walk outside and it's 62 degrees in February and be like, oh, I don't need a jacket. Somebody figure that out for me and I'm going to take a break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And Truth Nation, you can now watch my show live on YouTube every day from 9 a.m. until noon. Yep, you can get 3 full hours of watching Sherwin doing his thing streaming live on YouTube Monday through Friday. You'll get the same insightful conversations about policy, politics, and lifestyle while also seeing my reaction to the unpredictability of our listeners. So go to YouTube right now, subscribe to 1017 The Truth, and see this wonderful smile live every day.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Greg Fritsch, president of the Center for Veterans Issues, inviting you to get involved in supporting the CVI mission. The Center for Veterans Issues is proud to serve veterans across Wisconsin. Each year, we help more than 1,200 veterans stay housed, find meaningful employment, and connect with the support they've earned. From housing assistance and job training to case management and suicide prevention outreach, our team is here to help veterans build stable, independent lives. If you're a veteran in need of support, visit cvivet.org. Donations can also be accepted at cvivet.org/donate.
Are you planning a special event? Do you need a personal chef? Either way, make it tasteful. I'm Alicia the Chef, owner of Tasteful Events Catering, and we create customized food experiences for any occasion. We bring quality, flavor, and professionalism to every table. Whether it's a special event or everyday meal solutions, we focus on delivering more than just food. We create experiences. Book today or learn more online at www.tastefuleventscatering.com.
A message from Tia Mori, actress and Fair Celebrity Ambassador.
Game day isn't staged, it's lived. It's the shopping, the cooking, the laughter. For families managing food allergy, that same spirit of preparation means everything. Because food allergy isn't a lifestyle. It's a serious, life-threatening disease that can change everything in a moment. But being ready changes the story. It's knowing the signs, having a plan, and carrying epinephrine everywhere life takes you. Epinephrine is the only treatment that can stop a severe food allergy reaction known as anaphylaxis. It works quickly to reverse the symptoms and can save lives. As families and friends gather for the big game, we see what community looks like. It's one built on awareness, care, and love in action. Because readiness doesn't take away the risk. It brings back the joy. When you're ready to act, you're ready to live.
Visit foodallergy.org/ready to act to learn more.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I found something from the archives. Let me see. Stop playing music and stop. Where's my archives? Right here. During the weird knock.
No, let me get this door because it's a weird knock.
Oh, yeah, this is good. Keep us on the phone. He said it's a... Of course you got to keep us on the phone during the weird knock.
No, sir. How may I help you, sir?
Uh-oh.
I'll be right back. All right.
Uh-oh.
The police are at my door right now. We're going live. The police are at my door right now. Sir, how may I help you, sir? How may I help you, sir?
Hold on.
What do you need, sir?
Can you come out and talk with us then?
I'm not going to come out, sir. There's a no trespassing sign on the door. You can talk from the door. I can hear you very clearly, sir.
Okay. Can you come talk with us about something?
Talk to you about what, sir?
Huh?
About what, sir?
You're going to have to come talk with me outside.
No, he trying to get him.
What is it involving?
I need to speak with you.
I can't hear you.
So some investigation that I need to speak with you with?
An investigation you need to speak with me about.
Are you trying to pick up some property at Channel 4?
I got to knock at your door, man. Hold on. Let me get this door because it's a weird...
He ended up getting in the squad car with the cops. I don't know what happened after that, but the cop sounded so just like nice and calm and me. You want to come on outside? No. It's totally fine. Come here. I just want to talk to you. I want to see you real close. Get your hands behind your back. Taste. Taste. I don't know what happened to him, but he ended up getting in the squad car, and I wouldn't do that, nor would I advise it, because cops are not Ubers. There's only one place they're giving you a ride to, and it's not Aldi. Ain't no way. Come on in, Sherwin. Here, just have a seat in my squad car. Here, just for my safety, can I cuff ya? Were you guys watching when... So I brought a pair of handcuffs. I don't know why. I brought a pair of handcuffs in the studio one day, and I was playing with them. Don't ask me why I do most of what I do. Hell, I don't know why I do most of what I do. So I'm in the studio, like twirling the handcuffs around my finger while I'm doing my show. I don't know why I brought them. But they're like novelty handcuffs. They weren't real. They didn't have a key, so if you could just push a button and unlock them. Oh, I think they were freak handcuffs. I won them in like a raffle or something, like freak handcuffs, so you can be freaky. And so I'm doing my show. I'm twirling my handcuffs. Then in the middle of my show, Dr. Ken, I didn't even know Dr. Ken was here. His show doesn't start till 4 o'clock. So he busts in the door. This is all while we were on air and it was broadcasted on YouTube. Dr. Ken busts in the studio, grabs my handcuffs, and cuffs me. Like he got rough with it. Like he pushed me against the wall right here and cuffed me.
Like it was a fantasy or something?
No, I didn't. No. That's not my fantasy. That's a nightmare. Who wants to be cuffed? I don't even want to be blindfolded. Sherwin, can we try a blindfold? Hell no. You might steal my wallet. I don't know you like that, girl.
That's happened to you?
When my wallet was stolen? Well, no, I didn't let her blindfold me.
Oh, they asked you to be blindfolded.
Correct. I'm like, no, I need to be able to see. You might walk out the room and somebody else might walk in. You might think it's funny. She might walk, here, I'm just going to blindfold you here. Just stop and let me blindfold. And then she blindfolds me. All of a sudden it gets real quiet. And the next thing I hear, yeah, sure, when you like that.
Some Pulp Fiction action?
I don't need that now. Then they bring out the gimp. No, buddy. Please don't do that to me. I'm not doing no blindfold. I'm not into all that stuff. Some of y'all are a bunch of freaks. I got another one here. Water technology and energy innovation. Milwaukee is becoming a national hub for water tech and sustainability, tied to infrastructure upgrades, climate adaptation, and global demand for fresh water. Careers include environmental engineering, water systems, and energy technology. Another field is information technology, cybersecurity, and digital infrastructure. Every major industry now depends on information technology systems. Growing demand across healthcare, finance, and manufacturing. Certifications include CompTIA and AWS, IT support, cybersecurity, and cloud engineering. Biotech and pharmaceutical manufacturing that has tremendous growth in the region. Nearby expansion, major pharma investments in southeastern Wisconsin, including Milwaukee. High-paying technical roles without a PhD for quality control and lab technicians. Hospitality and tourism. It is the fastest growth rate industry in Milwaukee. Projected 15% growth rate through 2032. Record tourism revenue and bookings in 2025 and 2026. Oh, the Black Travel Summit is coming here in October. That's a really big deal. And as we get closer to October, we're going to have guests, we're going to have interviews, and people from the Black Travel Summit. So the Black Travel Summit is a group of social media influencers that literally travel all over the world. They go to all the different continents, and they go to different restaurants, and they stay at different hotels, and they digitally document their experiences as Black travelers, right? It's a really neat thing that they have going on because, Black folks, we can't always know if we're going to be safe if we travel internationally. And so what they do is they go to all these places all over the world, and they document on YouTube and on social media their experiences traveling to different countries. Here's an example. Last year, they were in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This year, they're coming to Milwaukee. I'm nervous because if they happen to go to the wrong place at the wrong time in Milwaukee, they may not give us good reviews. I'm going to have them stay the hell away from Bayshore because, I love the YNs, but I don't need people from the Black Travel Summit getting their Kia rental car stolen by the YNs. We'll talk more about that as the date grows nearer. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.
Need a way to hype up your day?
Hello, is this Shirley?
This is she.
Shirley, you are our Gruber 5K giveaway winner this quarter. Congratulations.
What would you do with $5,000?
Going to look at buying me a pickup truck. That will be some of my down payment.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
I love you guys.
I travel all around the world, Dr.